Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto x Pokemon Sun and Moon. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by an ice and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. A Lost Kid. Where am I? Why is it so dark, cold, what's that sound? Blue eyes as bright as the morning sky opened up to the view of the night sky with stars small but bright as anything and the full moon being blocked by the passing clouds which once parted face light to the small figure in the clearing as his eyes quickly checked his surroundings, finding himself in some kind of small clearing with a large rock not too far away and what looked like fruit in a pile by it. Where am I? Thought the small little boy as he tried to get up only to hiss in pain as he held his right leg which he now noticed was wrapped up in what looked like leaves and vines. Suddenly he heard a rustle and his eyes quickly darted into the tree line where the bushes started to move till they parted to reveal a tall bipedal cat with yellow fur, blue whiskers and palms. And as the little boy had a staring contest with it, did he realize that this was a Pokemon and one he had never seen before in any of the books he had read with his moth. Suddenly memories start to come back to him, some happy, but most that were recently not so good, and in the end he understands not only why he is injured, but where he is. So this is Kanto, it's better than the pictures, said the boy as the mysterious Pokemon looks up from its sitting position and started to walk towards him as Naruto gave a slight flinch when its face was mere inches from his. It gave a small growl before rolling over an orange berry which he hesitated in taking before quickly hearing the rumbling in his stomach and finally gave in grabbing the berry and chowing down on it as he felt refreshed and somewhat better. Thank you, said the boy as the Pokemon just gazed at him before walking to the rock and got on top of it before getting into a sitting position and staring at the night sky. For a child to be out this late is dangerous, said the yellow Pokemon as the boy stopped eating and stared at it. You can understand me? The boy asked surprised. And it would seem you could understand me. The yellow Pokemon suddenly stood up straighter and stared straight into the boy's eyes. "Now my question is, child, how did you end up on the beach soaked, dehydrated and starved, but also with a broken leg to boot?" The voice she talked in was female and sounded very strict as it gave a small glare which made the boy look away in slight fear for both the Pokemon and the reason he was injured. I was simply boating and. Child, you are young and thus I will not blame you for lying, especially in front of something that would frighten you, said the Pokemon. But I am not frightened of you, in fact I am grateful, because you are the first one to actually take the time to care if I was alright, the boy said as he let a few tears stream down his face and the Pokemon looked on with confusion, sadness and worry. Boy, are you an orphan? It asked worried for the answer. No, but I might as well be. You see, I was born a triplet. I, the oldest, was always expected to be the best, but when my other siblings showed more progression than me, more talent than I just because I couldn't unlock my aura faster, I was seen as a waste and put aside, ignored by everyone in my family, so after our 5th birthday, I overheard that my heir status would be taken and given to one of my twins to take down the road once one of them become a champion. So I left to start my journey early and learn more than I could from them, but I guess my boat wasn't good enough. The boy looked at the ground shedding tears at the end. The Pokemon looked on with anger, but also pity for a boy so young to be unloved by those who were supposed to love him was something it wished on no one. It stepped down its wreck and walked to the boy before kneeling down to his level and giving the little one a big hug that made him finally let it all out, and for the next few minutes, the clearing was full of sobbing as the boy cried his feelings out. Zeraora, was all the yellow bipedal cat said. What? Asked the boy. Zeraora, that's my name and I am known very few around the world as I like to have very little contact with humans, the now named Zeraora said. But I'm a human, so why are you talking to me? Asked the boy. Because you are nothing more than a child and a young one who was cast aside by foolish parents. Who could not see that your potential is there, it's just waiting to be unlocked, but not by them, but with your heart and those who truly believe in you, Zeraora said as the boy gave a small smile before snuggling into the Pokemon. My name is Naruto, the little blonde boy said as the bipedal Pokemon gave a small smile before letting the boy fall asleep in her arms. Don't worry Naruto, your parents might not have seen it, but you have it, the aura and so much more. Just like someone else and you too will change this world for the better. Zeraora has a small smile before laying down with the sleeping boy. Next day. Professor Oak's lab. The sun was bright today as the open meadow which housed many Pokemon and the small lakes around the place gave most of the Pokemon that stayed there a place to roam free as the owner of the large land was walking around with a small chart as he smiled at all the roaming Pokemon, some of them owned by trainers and others just part of the wildlife. As he was walking through the field he spotted the 2 of the 3 Pokemon he was hoping to find. One of them was a blue turtle-like creature with big eyes and small hands coming out of its shell with its tail being treated by the other Pokemon. A small little green creature with lighter green spots around its body and a giant seed being the main feature that gave it away. Squirtle, Bulbasaur, how are you two doing? Oh Squirtle, what did you do? Asked the old man who had gray hair and wrinkles on his face as his lab coat blew in the wind. This man was Professor Samuel Oak, the leading professor in Pokémon research. The two Pokémon started to tell him what happened, but both were speaking at the same time that their words, which was really them saying their names, was jumbled. Making the professor gave a small laugh before another sound caught the three's attention as a small orange lizard with a burning tail came running towards them waving its small arms. Charmander, what's wrong? Asked Oak. The Pokémon kept waving its hands before pointing to the forest as the three had confused faces before the fire lizard took Oak's hand and started to drag him into the forest, and for a few minutes the four continued the trick until they came into a clearing where they saw the sun shining down on a duo, one a Pokémon Oak had never seen before and another a little boy who looked just a few years older than his grandson. So this is what you wanted to show me, Charmander. Oak then saw the injury on the boy and gave a small gasp before covering his mouth as he suddenly saw the Pokémon open its eyes and stare right at him as it suddenly got up but also lowered the boy to the ground, not waking him as it moved to intercept him. Wait, I wasn't, but the Pokémon was already on him with a thunder punch but was pushed back when small fire streams came between the two as the three Kanto starters stood between the professor and the Pokémon. Move, I do not wish to hurt you, Zeraora said, but the three didn't bulge. Please, I didn't come to hurt you, I'm just worried about the boy, his injury seems severe, let me get him to a nurse, asked Oak as Zeraora was ready to pounce again until a small groan stopped them and all eyes looked at the waking Naruto who looked at the occurring situation. Good morning, what's going on? Asked Naruto. Well, you see little boy, my name is Professor Oak and I was walking around checking on all the Pokémon until I found you and Zeraora, and I know who you are, I read books about you, so that's why I'm here, this is your research field, said Naruto. Yes, and I was hoping I could convince Zeraora if I could take you to a nurse to check your leg, said Oak. Naruto looked down at his leg and put his hand on it as he expected some kind of pain but felt nothing, only the weird feeling of the leaf. He suddenly unwrapped the lead and saw his once bloodied leg cleaned and healed. It would seem you healed faster than I expected, said Zeraora. Zeraora, please let him go, he is a trustworthy person. I promise, Naruto said as she had to give a slight growl before lowering her stance. So young man, mind explaining how you ended up in the middle of my field? Asked Oak. Long story, but I can tell you after we head back to your research lab because I am feeling kinda sore, said Naruto. And your friend? Asked Oak as he stared at the mysterious Pokémon as Naruto gave her a pleading look and after a minute she sighed before nodding her head. She'll follow me and because she helped me through my time here, he said. Well then, shall we? Said Oak with a small smile. Prof. Oak's lab. Professor Oak led them back to his lab where he checked to see if Naruto was fully alright and if he had any other injuries, but he seemed fine, and after some food for him, the three starters and Zeraora, who just stared at it until Naruto told her to at least try the setting, was finally at ease, but still a little tense. But enough for Naruto to tell Oak about how he ended up in Kanto, and by the end, Oak could only feel sadness for the boy as he could not understand why he would be unloved by all those who were supposed to love him. His grandson Gary and his son Blue were the two most important people to him, so he couldn't imagine not loving them anymore. Well, young Naruto, you are welcome to stay here for as long as you need, said Professor Oak. Thanks, Professor, and to be honest, maybe time with all these Pokémon will make me feel at ease, said Naruto as he rubbed the heads of Charmander and Bulbasaur with Squirtle sitting in his lap, which gave Professor Oak a small smile. Say Naruto, can I ask you a question? Asked Oak. Sure, what is it? Asked Naruto. Do you still plan to be a trainer? That question caused Naruto to close his eyes and look down at the Squirtle at his lap as it gave him a small smile. Honestly, I don't know. After having those you cared about turn their back on you and say that you're not worth the time and effort. To have them basically say I would amount to nothing and not even waste my time being a trainer is kinda sad, but now after nearly dying and meeting a Pokémon I have never seen, it got me thinking, why listen to the words of those who never saw my full self? Professor Oak, I don't plan to listen to them if they never listen to me. I'm here to say I will be the best that there ever was and prove all of them wrong, Naruto said with the most conviction he had as a fire burned in his eyes that showed Oak and the Pokémon he was not only serious but passionate about it. Well then, I would like to offer you the chance to learn under me and grow till you are ready, because if you want to be a Pokémon master you're gonna need the knowledge to do so, said Oak as Zeraora walked up to him and put her paw on his shoulder. And the Pokémon to show you how to be the best and bond through tough and thin, Zeraora said as the three starters gave a loud cry and Naruto shed a small tear and gave a wide grin as on this day, a journey was born for one of the greatest Pokémon masters to walk the earth. End. Chapter 2. A Journey's Beginning. Pallet Town. 4 years later. The sounds of Pidgey and Spearow could be heard throughout the morning day as they flew above the lush green trees, with the small little Rattata running through the tall grass as Caterpie and Weedle sitting atop the trees, looking down upon the small little Pokémon and watching as a something quickly ran past them and was using the trees to quickly pass by them. The Rattata of course were spooked before they too continued running as the blur was speeding through the tall grass, making sure to jump over any hurdles in the way before bursting through some bushes as the cool morning sun lit the figure who was on one knee as he slowly got up, showing that he was wearing a black muscle shirt with a white Pokeball design on the front and black joggers that had stripes down the side which matched with his running shoes as he inhaled the cool morning air as his blonde locks blew with it. "You're not tired are you now, Naruto?" a light female voice said with a little mirth. The now named Naruto opened his ocean blue eyes and looked to his left where a large boulder was as a certain bipedal Pokémon sat atop of it as it stared into his eyes, giving a small snarky smile. "Very funny Z, you and me both know I have more energy than that, and besides Gramps' backyard is the easier terrain to do my exercises in," Naruto responded with as he started to jog through the open terrain with the many Pokémon around just walking around as most belonged to trainers that left them with Professor Oak as they continued their journey. "So how are we going to surprise the professor this time?" asked Zeraora as she ran beside him. I think I'll give him a break this year," Naruto responded as he jumped over a sleeping Rhyhorn. "Really, and why would that be?" questioned Zeraora. "Oh, you know him getting old and is always finding ways to make our return grand will probably make him die of a heart attack." "Naruto, I have been around you for a very long time and I know when your excuses are utter toros," said Zeraora. "Okay, you got me. Today is the day I have dreamt for a while now since Grandpa Oak took me in," said Naruto as the two stopped in front of a large building with a windmill beside it as he walked up the steps bearing some noises inside and once he opened the door with the key he was given. He walked into the lab to see Professor Oak, the leading researcher and most well-known around the Pokémon world, as he was trying to catch a small little EV as it jumped around him and was knocking over some stuff in the process as Oak gave a final sigh before laying on the floor as the EV gave a small yip, almost laughing at the poor man's failed attempt to catch it. "EV, please leave the professor alone, I think he's had enough fun for one day," Naruto said, finally showing his presence as the two turned around in surprise before both grew big smiles as Eve quickly sprinted towards Naruto before jumping into his arms as it showed its love to Naruto. With him giving Eevee small kisses before looking towards Oak, who had a huge smile and walked towards him before giving him a big hug. "Good to see you again, my boy," Professor Oak said as he patted his shoulder as it had been nearly a year since he had seen him. "Sorry for not calling earlier, Gramps, but the flight home took longer than I thought it would," he said. "But it was all worth it to see you again, Naruto," Oak said as they walked upstairs to where he did his work. "So how have things been since I've been gone?" asked Naruto. "Oh, nothing new, but the new trainers are coming in today to start their journey," said Oak as he grabbed a cart that held 3 Pokeballs. "Well, what a coincidence that I return the day new trainers start their journey," said Naruto with Oak giving him a small smile. "Ah yes, you are 10 now, aren't you? I would think you would want to wait a few more years," said Oak. "Well, I would wait till I'm 16 since that's what Kalo's trainers usually start at, but since I live in Kanto and I want to start my journey here, I might as well start it now," said Naruto as he walked to the window and looked out at the open field. "Well, if that's the case, then you might want these," said Oak as he handed Naruto 3 things: a small box, some Pokeballs, and a small little watch with the poke symbol on it. "Whoa, Gramps, you didn't have to," Naruto said, feeling a slight blush on being given not only his starting things for his journey, but what he could remember as the next gen of Pokédex, in which both and Stone Industries have been working on. But from the day you came into my life, Naruto, not a moment has been dull, and with your help in journeying to other regions and helping other researchers, the world of Pokémon has never looked brighter, especially with the new information you were able to collect," he said. Yes, and I was able to stop by Alola to study more on Mega Evolution and the connection with Z crystals," Naruto said as he handed the professor a small bag that had all the info from both Professor Sycamore, Professor Kukui and his cousin Samson, who all helped him in collecting the data. "But my boy, I'm sure this will help with the rest of the data you were able to retrieve," said Oak as he paid them down by his computer. "Well, learning more about Pokémon was always a great way to pass the time whenever you weren't around, plus with the regions I've traveled to and the things I've seen, my fascination with Pokémon grows every day, and taking this journey as a trainer will further both my mind and bond with those around me." Naruto gave a small smile as he looked up at the rafters where Zeraora was just laying up there enjoying the relaxation. Yes, Zeraora has been a great help as well for both myself, but mostly for you growing up. And I thank her for watching over you all this time," said Oak. "And I'm grateful for her, she was the one who saved me, watched over me as if I was her own kin," Naruto said as a glaze-over look appeared in his eyes before he was taken out of it by Z, appearing in front of him with a paw on his head, ruffling his hair. Don't go crying on my get, kid. You haven't even had your first official battle, said Z as she gave a sly smirk. Banksy, so Gramps, what's in this box and this watch, asked Naruto after rubbing his eyes. Ah yes, that there is the new Pokédex from, and they got help from Stone in making sure some features such as mapping, time, and transferring of not only mail, but Pokémon as well, Oak said as he pressed a button and two small lights shined before a Pokémon appeared over the watch. That'll come in handy if I need to switch out somebody on my team, Naruto said. It also has the data of every Pokémon in each region you have gone to, but if you manage to find some unknown Pokémon, it will immediately register it in. As for the box, well, it was actually a gift from both Ash and my grandson Gary, with a little help from me and their moms, said Oak with a little wink as Naruto smiled, knowing those boys are his biggest helpers and fans, as they were always there for him and he for them in tight spots. They were always at each other's throats and trying to impress him, but in the end the two always got along, and whenever he was around he tried to teach them more about Pokémon and allowing them to interact with the few he had, with Z being their favorite as they have never seen one like him. Of course she at first didn't like them, but eventually they grew on her, and whenever they wanted to hang out the two would always be scooped up in her arms faster than they could react. I guess I'll have thank them later, said Naruto, before opening the box, and his eyes widened at what he saw. It was small little necklace with a white rim and a picture of him, Oak, Delia, Ash and Gary, all smiling on his first day leaving for Johto to research Ho-Oh. He let out a small tear before out the necklace on and seeing something else and removed the cloth to reveal two Pokeballs. One made his eyes go wide as it was a Master Ball, a rare Pokeball that anyone would pay to have, and the other was something akin to an Ultra Ball only with a lightning bolt going across it. Those two were hard to come by, with one being a rare item for anyone and the other being made specifically for Zeraora herself, as she looks like someone you might want to keep safe, said Oak as Naruto gave a small smile before looking towards Z, who gave a small smile and walked to him. Since the day I saved you I saw something that I have never seen in a human before. Hope for a bright future, Z said as she smiled before tapping the Pokeball and letting it capture him as 3 seconds later it dinged signaling a catch as Naruto gave a small cheer before releasing Z. Now are you ready for your journey to start, Naruto, asked Oak. Not yet, Professor, I just gotta say goodbye to some people, along with getting the rest of my team, said Naruto. Ah yes, I would assume you mean the 3 waiting outside then, said Oak before Eevee jumped into his arms. And don't forget about Eevee, Gramps, said Naruto as Eevee cried in joy. Ah yes, then you might want this then. Oak then walked over and handed him a small white Pokeball with red lines. I assume the other 3 are at their usual spot, said Naruto, but before Oak could answer the door behind was flung open as Naruto turned around only to be dogpiled by 3 blurs, a green, blue, and golden blur, as the 3 Kanto starters crises in joy at seeing Naruto again. Well, now it would seem they expected you to come, said Oak with a jolly time. They always know when I'm around, said Naruto rubbing all 3 Pokemon's heads. So I would assume you're gonna take them with you, asked Oak. I mean if it's okay with you, Gramps, asked Naruto. Oh, it's mighty fine with me, Naruto. These 3 have been by your side since you first arrived, and this Charmander here you have helped so much, especially with it standing out from the others, said Oak as this Charmander once it hatched from the egg was always seen as different and thus treated different from other Charmander. Yeah, well, I know how it feels, bud, but don't worry, we'll show them all of us, Naruto said as he looked at all his Pokémon. But do take it easy on trainers because I know these 3 are more powerful than the regular starters, said Oak. Don't worry, Gramps, I'll make sure to take it easy with them and I'll probably try to use Pokémon I catch instead, said Naruto as he stood up. So off to say bye to the others, huh? Well, I wish you could stay more, but I know you would want to get started right away, said Oak. Don't worry, Gramps, I'll make sure to stop by after I collect all 8 badges, Naruto said with a smile as Oak gave a pouch laugh. We'll be safe, my boy, and always treat those around you with the utmost respect, Oak's final words to him as he headed off to say his goodbyes to those in Pallet Town. Few hours later. So what's the plan for this little journey of ours, asked Z as the two walked down the road to Vermilion City through Route 1. Well, I would suggest we go to the Vermilion Gym so we can get it out of the way, but from what I have heard most of the time the gym leader is away. So we will try later down the road, Naruto suggested as they walked past a large tree with some birds flying out of it. So you want to challenge the Pewter City Gym first, huh, asked Z. Yeah, besides I know some of my Pokémon would want to make a good first impression in their first gym battle, said Naruto. So which one is gonna have its first battle, asked Z. Well, since the Pewter City Gym leader is a rock-type expert, I'll have the advantage with both water and grass, though in which one will go first is a mystery to me, said Naruto. But before Z could respond the wind started to pick up as a rock was hurled at them and the two jumped to the side and looked up into the sky as they saw a herd of Spearow chasing and attacking a wandering Pidgey who looked injured, but even with its winged injured, it still managed to fight off the dozen of Spearow attacking it. Spearow? The two then had wide eyes as they saw Firo come out of nowhere and give the Pidgey a wing attack, knocking it to the ground as the injury grew worse and it cried in pain. "Hey. Leave her alone." Naruto then grabbed a stray rock and threw it at one of the Spearow as it cried out at him along with the other Spearow and Firo. "I'd back off if I was you," Z said as she growled at them with the Firo glaring daggers at her. "Easy Z, I think I'll use someone who light things up," said Naruto before taking out one of his Pokeballs. "Oh Blaze. Charrr." Charmander gave a fierce glare at the Firo who cried out before flying higher and signaling to the group of Firo who cried out in confirmation and flew farther away to give the two some space. Firo gave one final cry before charging at the small fire lizard. Charmander quick dodge it and use Ember, then follow it with Tackle. Naruto called out as Charmander at the last second jumped to the left before spinning around and shooting out small fire sparks that hit the Firo on its right wing as it cried in pain and was forced to fly low to the ground, giving Charmander an opportunity to charge in and give it a mighty tackle as it crashed to the ground. Firo. Suddenly the other Spearow started to attack Charmander who was caught off guard and was hit in the back with a wing attack as it skidded into the ground, but before it could get up Firo attacked Charmander with a drill peck, furthering injuring him. "Blaze no," Naruto said as he went to help but the Spearow got in the way, but they forgot about the other Pokémon there with him. The group of Spearows suddenly got hit by a thunderbolt as they became charred and had swirls in their eyes as they lay knocked out with the Firo having wide eyes, but before it could fly away, it turned around into the angered eyes of Blaze. "Time to end this Blaze Mega Punch," Naruto said as Charmander's fist lit up before hitting Firo right in the chest as it was set into the pile of knocked out Spearow. "Some Pokémon have too big of an ego sometimes," said Z. "Good job Blaze returned for now," Naruto said as he was happy for his Pokémon's first win, but was still worried for the injured Pidgey as he quickly ran over to check if it was okay and saw that its wing was partly bleeding and was having trouble moving it. "She may have broken it and from I can tell isn't able to fly with that type of injury," said Z as Naruto had a somber look. "We gotta get her to a Pokémon Center quickly," said Naruto as he wrapped the damaged wing as best as he could before holding the Pidgey close to his chest before running towards Vermilion City as Z followed close behind. "Don't worry buddy, we'll get you fixed up before you even know it," he thought as the Pidgey was looking up at him with painful eyes, but felt a warmth from this boy and snuggled closer to him for more comfort. Vermilion City. Pokémon Center. Naruto was sitting on a chair patiently waiting for what Nurse Joy would say about the little birdie brought in, who had fallen asleep while he ran all the way here and burst through the door, asking Nurse Joy to help the poor little fellow who had a pretty damaged right wing as some of it was broken, but from what he was told just over 2 hours ago, the bird Pokémon was sent into her. Suddenly the light above the sign turned off and out stepped Nurse Joy, wiping some sweat off her brow. "Nurse Joy, is he gonna be alright?" asked Naruto. "Don't worry young man, she'll be fine. I was able to heal the cut and the broken bone on her wings I was able to fix for the most part, but she should take it easy for a little while and not fly for at least a week," she said. "That's good," he said letting out a sigh. "I'm glad you were there to help because if not she might have not made it," Nurse Joy said as she gave him a small smile before walking away as Naruto was given the okay to visit the Pidgey. "Lucky we showed up when we did," said Z from within her Pokeball. "Yeah, but we should have helped sooner," said Naruto. "She still would have been hurt," said Z. "I know, but not this hurt," said Naruto as he looked inside the window of where the Pidgey was laying down in a large pillow with its wing wrapped up in the monitor next to it. "Looks like she is sleeping soundly," said Z. "Yeah I know right, but doesn't this Pidgey look different than the rest?" asked Naruto as he saw the fur on it have a more yellow vibe to it. "That's because it's a shiny Pidgey Naruto," Z said as his eyes widened upon realizing it. He then saw it start to stir noticing it was waking up and decided to maybe feed it as he pulled some poke food from his backpack and walked in just as the Pidgey was fully getting up but winced as it looked at its damaged wing. "Hey you're okay now," said Naruto drawing its attention. "Pidge. Yeah I know weird place right, but I brought you here because you got into a nasty fight with that Firo, but don't worry I dealt with it and got you here to heal you," Naruto said before pouring some food for it in a bowl and sliding it over to her as it looked at it suspiciously and at him before taking a small bite and crying out in joy and devouring more of it. As Naruto gave a small laugh. "You like it don't you?" "I Pidge. Nurse Joy says you're gonna need to heal for a bit before you start flying, and I know it sucks, but it's to make sure you're better and good to fly," said Naruto as Pidgey gave him a sad face, but cried in understanding. "It wants to thank you for being there as apparently those Spearow were bothering other Pokémon," said Z. "Yeah well bullies aren't the best, and sometimes you gotta stand up for others so good job on you," said Naruto as Pidgey cried out in joy. Naruto has decided to stay the entire time Pidgey was healing as it enjoyed his company and the food he brought her. They grew closer that when it came time to remove the bandages, Naruto gained a hit of sadness as the time he spent with Pidgey was something he wished would not end. Well Pidgey, it's been a fun ride, but now that you're all healed up, it might be time for our ways to separate, Naruto said as the now bandage-free Pidgey cried out in sadness. You know Naruto, I technically don't count as part of your six unless you make it so, Z said. Are you saying catch her? But I don't know if she wants to, asked Naruto, but as if Pidgey was reading his mind, it started to peck at his side and at one of the Pokeballs as it fell off, and before he could grab it, the Pidgey tapped its beak to it, causing it to suck him in and the ball to shake 3 times before clicking signaling a capture. Well, that answers your question, said Z. Nice, I caught my first Pokémon, said Naruto before releasing Pidgey.so Pidgey, since you're part of the team I feel as though I should give you a name mmhhh. How about Talia, Naruto said as the now named Talia Creers are in joy. Well then Talia, let our new journey to be a Pokémon master commence, Naruto said as Talia flew away onto his shoulder and started to walk towards their epic journey. Chapter 3. The Rocky Challenge. The sun was up and shining as bright as ever, with Naruto walking down the path at a steady pace as the Pokémon around him and in the trees enjoyed the afternoon sun as Naruto looked over the horizon to see Pewter City, the place where the rock-type gym leader Brock was and his first gym challenge. Calm down, you haven't won yet, said Z inside her Pokeball. Yeah, I know, but I feel so pumped, said Naruto as he gave a hug smile before sprinting towards the gym. Once he made it into the small city, he immediately went to the Pokémon Center to make sure all of his Pokémon were in top shape. Though once they were checked up, he rushed on over to the gym, and once he saw it take its rocky-type gym to literally, and as he walked into the gym, he saw the rocky terrain and the balcony for any viewers, but stopped once he was close to it looking around for the gym leader. Hello, is anyone here? Asked Naruto. Who goes there? Suddenly the lights turned on and a man with brown spiky hair, a long-sleeved orange shirt with a green stripe in the middle, along with brown pants standing at the other side of the battlefield. A challenger, and you must be the gym leader, said Naruto. Precisely, my name is Brock Harrison, and I am the Pewter City Gym leader. Well Brock, my name is Naruto and I am here to challenge, he said as he decided to use the fake last name, knowing his real last name would draw too much attention. Well Naruto, is this your first official gym battle? Brock asked, walking to stand across from his opponent's field. Yes, actually I just started my journey a little over a week ago, he replied. And you think that makes you ready to face off against one of the right gym leaders? Asked Brock, hitting a bit of sarcasm. Well, I might be just starting my journey, but trust me when I say that I'm ready, Naruto said as he raised his Pokeball. Well then I guess you'll have to learn the hard way, Brock said as he held a Pokeball as some kids were playing on the balcony and one of them came to the middle. This is a 2-on-2 battle with only the challenger being allowed to substitute. The battle only ends when one side's Pokémon is unable to battle. Well, let's get started then. Go Geodude. Brock threw out his Pokeball as out came a small rock with big eyes and 2 long arms that was floating above the ground. A Geodude, huh, cool, Naruto then raised his dex to watch. Geodude, rock ground, the rock Pokémon. Its round body makes it easy to pick up, but it is hard and heavy. It's dangerous to play with them as if they were snowballs. This Geodude is LVL 15 and is registered to Brock. Strong little guy, huh? Alright then Samuel, let's go. Naruto threw his Pokeball as a green bipedal Pokémon with a huge seed on its back gave a cry before having a starting contest with the rock Pokémon. Let the battle begin. Geodude, go tackle, Brock said as his Pokémon charged at the Bulbasaur. Quick Samuel, dodge it and use Razor Leaf, Naruto quickly said as Samuel jumped to the left just as Geodude crashed into the spot he was in and unleashed sharp leaves that soared towards Geodude. Geodude defense curl as quickly as Brock gave the command. Geodude was already glowing in a green glow as its defense raised up and the leaves made contact, doing less damage than it would have. I'm glad you're just as strong as I thought you would be, Brock, said Naruto. As a gym leader, it's my job to make sure I don't lose to just anyone, even when they have an upper hand, said Brock as he showed a small smile enjoying their battle. Well, guess me and Samuel are gonna need more than type to win. Quick leech seed followed by a body slam, Naruto shouted as Samuel fires off small seeds from his green sack. Geodude, dodge quickly, Brock said as he knew if that move hit his Geodude wouldn't survive. Geodude quickly started to dodge the few seeds shot at him, but was not prepared for the body slam when Samuel appeared in front of him, causing it to go crashing into a boulder as it got up, but grunted in pain a little. I see your Bulbasaur is quick as well. Good, then guess we will up our game. Geodude defense curl, then follow it up with rock throw, Brock said as Geodude glowed once more, before small shards of rock appeared around it as they flew straight at Samuel, with Naruto's eyes widening. Samuel, dodge, Burrito quickly said as Samuel jumped out of the way of the few rocks he was able to see coming, but wasn't able to dodge the next wave that forced him to flinch. Now Geodude mega punch, Geodude then raises his fist as it glowed with power, before rushing at Samuel as Naruto was deep in thought, quickly trying to find a way to stop him. Samuel quick use poison powder to block his view, Naruto said as out of the seed spilled a purple gas that Geodude walked straight into as it stopped its movement and started to cough. No Geodude, quickly use Mega Punch on the ground, Brock said as Geodude's hand glowed once more before he punched the ground blowing away the gas. Now Samuel used Vine Whip, 2 vines then wrapped around Geodude as it struggled to break free, but then growled in pain as the poison effect took hold. "Oh no, it's poisoned," Brock said with worry. "Yup, but don't worry, because we are about to end this." "Samuel, go swing him around, then use Razor Leaf," said Naruto. Samuel then used his Vine Whip to swing Geodude around as it got slammed into a bladder before throwing him into the air as it cried out before Samuel let loose sharp leaves that Geodude couldn't escape and took the full force before slamming into the ground as a dust cloud blocked the field but one settled showed an unconscious Geodude with swirls in its eyes. "Geodude is unable to battle," one of the kids said as Brock recalled his Pokémon looking shocked. "Surprised you didn't I," said Naruto with a small smirk. "Your skills are not unlike other beginners, but still let's see if you're ready for more. Go Onyx." Brock then threw out his Pokeball as a giant rock serpent roared onto the field. "Well, this might be a challenge," thought Naruto as his smirk was still on his face before taking his Pokédex out. Onix Rock Ground, the rock snake Pokémon. As it grows, the stone portions of its body harden to become similar to a diamond, but colored black. This Onyx is level 18 and is registered to Brock. "This is my final Pokémon, so Naruto, if you think you're worthy of the Boulder badge, then come at me with everything," said Brock. "Alright then Samuel, you good to go again?" Naruto asked as Samuel looked back with a smirk and a shout of Blueba as Naruto smirked as well. "Onyx vs Bulbasaur, now let the battle begin," one of his siblings said. "Onyx rock throw, then get in close and use tackle," Brock said as Onyx had large shards of rock around him before they shot off at Samuel. "Samuel, use Razor Leaf to block them," Naruto quickly said as Samuel shot off sharp leaves that stopped some of the rocks, but not all of them as they landed around him blocking his view with the dust, thus he wasn't able to see Onyx coming from behind and smashing into him as Samuel yelled in pain before being wrapped up by Onyx. "End this Onyx," said Brock as Onyx tightened his hold on him, causing him to cry out in pain. "Samuel, get out," Naruto said with worry, but before he was able to recall his Pokémon, Onyx slammed him into the ground, causing a gust of wind to blow him back, and as he looked at the crater, he saw Samuel laying down with swirls in his eyes. "Bulbasaur is unable to battle," one of the kids said as Naruto walked onto the field and grabbed Samuel. "You did great, bud," said Naruto as Samuel gave a weak grunt before he put him back in his Pokeball. "So Naruto, you have one more Pokémon, let us see how you fare with my Onyx still at full strength," said Brock as Naruto gave a small smirk. "Don't worry Brock, I'm far from done," Naruto said as he pulled out a Pokeball. "Go Leonardo." Out of the light came a small blue turtle that cried out its war cry. "So Naruto, think you can win just because you have type advantage, then I guess you have a lot to learn," said Brock. "Oh, trust me, I know that better than anyone," said Naruto, as throughout his time traveling he had learned that just because you had the type advantage doesn't always guarantee you'll win. "Then let's get this final battle underway. Onyx use rock throw." Onyx then shot of shards of rock from around him. "Leonardo used Gyro Ball, then follow it up with Water Gun," said Naruto as his Pokémon got inside its shell before spinning around with a grey glow as the rocks were blown away, but he didn't stop there as he shot off smashing into Onyx, causing it to cry out before Leonardo's head popped out and he shot off water hitting Onyx, causing even more damage. "Onyx Stone Edge and then use Wrap." Onyx smashes his tail into the ground as large pillars of rock blocked the water and headed straight for Leonardo. "Leo, dodge and stop him with Water Gun," said Naruto as Leo jumped to the right and shot off water once again. "Onyx dig," said Brock as Onyx quickly burrowed underground, dodging the burst of water. "Damn, Leo, keep up your toes, no telling where he might come from," said Naruto as Leo looked around and in guard, but suddenly the ground underneath cracked and before either could do anything Onyx burst out as Leo was sent flying and it caused him to cry out. "Onyx Wrap," Brock said as Onyx caught Squirtle and started to squeeze him causing him to yell out in pain. "Leo, quickly use Water Gun," said Naruto as he tried to free his Pokémon from the rock serpent's grasp. "Quick Onyx, slam it into the ground and use Body Slam," Brock said as Onyx raised Leo up and smashed him into the ground before he could fire his water, but he wasn't done there as he put his full body weight into Squirtle, causing it to go smashing into a boulder. "Leo?" Naruto said with worry as the dust settled to show Leo still standing as it wobbled a little trying to stay upright. "It looks like your Pokémon is on its last legs," said Brock. "Leo," Naruto said with worry and a hint of sadness as he saw his Pokémon trying its best to stay in it. "You might as well call it quits before your Pokémon gets even more injured," said Brock as Naruto's hands tightened as he felt anger that soon disappeared once he saw his Pokémon all beaten and hurt before going to grab Leo's Pokeball. "Squirtle." He stopped and looked up to his Pokémon as his eyes showed its determination and will to keep on going, as in those eyes he saw everything Leo has been through as well as himself. You wanna keep going, don't you, Leo? Squirtle. Then let's keep going, huh bud, Naruto said as he put the Pokeball back and the two looked at Brock and Onyx each with eyes of determination. So you wanna keep going and put your Pokémon in even more pain, said Brock with a disappointed look. Yes, me and Leo are gonna show you that our will to never give up is stronger than any you will ever see, said Naruto. Your Pokémon is in its last legs. As a gym leader I could end this match and get your trainer license revoked for not caring for your Pokémon's safety, said Brock. I know, and Leo's safety is my primary concern, but if I recall him now, not only will our bond change, but the trust we both have in each will be broken. I know the safety of my Pokémon is rule one, but when I look into his eyes, I see its resolve to make sure we win, and that no matter what pain he goes through, he'll use it to strengthen his will. So Brock, tell me, would you stop the battle because of that? Because me and my Pokémon's trust in each other to never give up is something we grew up with, Naruto said as Brock looked at him for a few minutes before signing and giving a small smile. Your Pokémon really trust you that much? Well then I guess I can't deny him from this battle's resolution. Let us continue then, said Brock as Onyx gave a war cry. Alright Leo, let's do this, Naruto said as Leo gave a smirk and cried out as it suddenly got envelopes in a white light as both Brock and Naruto had wide eyes as the shape of Leo started to grow and change with light dying down, showing a new Pokémon standing there. Or Turtle. Oh Leo, you evolved, said Naruto as Leo turned towards him and gave a thumbs up and taking out his Pokédex. Wartle, water, the turtle Pokémon and the evolved form of Squirtle. Often hides in the water to stalk unwary prey. For swimming fast, it moves its ears to maintain balance. I guess both your bonds are greater than I thought, then let's get serious. Onyx used Stone Edge and follow it up with Body Slam, said Brock. Quick Leo, dodge it and use Water Gun, Naruto said as Leo jumped to the right, but instead of firing a small stream of water, it shot out a pulse of water that made Onyx reel back in pain. Wait, what? Brock said in shock. Leo, you learned Water Pulse, said Naruto in awe, but Leo just held up one of its fingers as it had a smirk on its face before raising its arms up. Warrrr. Suddenly the lights began to flicker as a swirl of clouds began to appear circling the field before drops of water fell onto the field and Onyx shook in pain as the water hurt it just a little. And rain dance? Well then why don't we show Brock what we are made of? Use Water Pulse, said Naruto as Leo unleashed the same move, only it got more powerful thanks to the rain. Quick Onyx, use Dig to dodge, Brock said as Onyx burrowed its way underground. Oh no, you don't Leo, quick follow it underground by using Gyro Ball, Naruto said as Leo spun around and smashed into the ground, breaking into it as the ground tumbled for a few seconds before I popped the two with Onyx crying out in pain as Leo landed safely. Onyx, are you okay? Brock asked. Let's finish this, Leo. Water Pulse, Leo then fired off the burst of water. Onyx dodge, but Onyx was too tired and couldn't move in time to dodge the burst of water as it cried out once more before falling to the ground with swirls in its eyes. Onyx is unable to battle and thus the winner of the match goes to Naruto, said the biggest of the kids as the rain disappeared. Yeah Leo, we did it, yelled Naruto as he ran over and gave high newly evolved water Pokémon a hug. Well Naruto, I gotta say you surprised me today with your battling resolve and gave me a heated battle today. Thus I present to you the Boulder Badge, said Brock as he handed Naruto small brown badge that looked like a rock. Alright, I got the Boulder Badge, Naruto jumped for joy as Leo did as well. So now that you have your first badge, what is next for you? Asked Brock as Naruto put away his new badge inside a small little case. I think we are going to head to Cerulean City to take on the gym leader from there, said Naruto. Well then Naruto, I want to wish you luck on your journey and hopefully our paths may cross again, but for now I wish you luck, said Brock as the two shook hands before Naruto headed off to the Pokémon Center to get his Pokémon healed. Big bro. One of the shorter siblings ran up and hugged him as Brock smiled and knelt down to lift him up. Alright, it's getting late and it's time for all of you to go to sleep, said Brock as he led his siblings back home, all the while thinking of his opponent Naruto. Why did he seem so familiar, were his final thoughts before his attention returned to his siblings. And done like damn, was that a long one, not as long as the previous one, but shit did that take a long time. I of course had to stop and make some changes to make sure the moves were executed right, but also because I forgot if they could learn it. Also I was gonna throw Charmander in there to bring out Metal Claw because that's what I did in Fired, but was like nah, let's wait till later. Also if you're wanting a specific Pokémon to join his team I might consider, but 50-50 it's not gonna happen yet. Anyways, Imma put the new updates to his team here and the names they all got. Chapter 4. Journey through the mountain. Blaze fire spin now, Naruto said as his fire lizard opened its mouth and shot out a swirling mass of fire that hit his opponent, which happened to be a small purple rat Pokémon that quickly jumped to the side to dodge the oncoming fire. Nice try, but my Rattata is faster than your Charmander, now use bite, his opponent Rick said as his small rat Pokémon growled before rushing at Blaze. Ha, getting cocky aren't we? Blaze roll underneath him and use double kick, said Naruto as Blaze rushes towards the rushing Pokémon before ducking as Rattata tried to bite him but went sailing overhead as Blaze gave a smirk before giving the Pokémon one kick and another as it went sailing, landing in a heap as it tried to get up. No Rattata, you got to get up, Rick said in worry. Charmander, get it while it's down, fire spin, Blaze then fired its flames again as Rattata took the full force, forcing it to screech in pain before it died down and revealed the Pokémon with swirls in its eyes. Rattata, said Rick as he walked towards his Pokémon and knelt down to help his knocked out Pokémon. Good match and your Pokémon is really powerful, though I think you should take it to a Pokémon center right now, said Naruto as he helped Rick up. Thanks, and you're really strong, maybe we can battle again sometime, Rick said. Anytime, Rick, Naruto said as the two departed and Charmander walked beside him smiling at another win before a blur appeared beside him. It would seem Blaze enjoyed that battle, Z said. Yeah, well, ever since Leo evolved all the others have been training extra hard to get caught up with him, especially Blaze, said Naruto. I mean, Blaze and Leo have been each other's biggest rivals. Well, poor Samuel has had to be there to break them up all this time, Z said as she laughed at the poor grass type's misfortune. Yeah, hahaha, but it helps all three in the end, said Naruto. The three continued to walk until they reached the nearest Pokémon center, where Z hid by the mountains and waited for Naruto to heal up the rest of his Pokémon. And as she was waiting, she felt as though someone was watching her and looked around to find nothing, but jumped when a thunderbolt hit the spot where she was. Well, it's my lucky day. I go and try to catch more powerful Pokémon, and I find a Pokémon my Pokédex doesn't even register, a kid wearing a black shirt underneath a blue vest with black pants that had blue stripes and blue and white sneakers. I thought the area was safe, guess I was wrong. Thought Z as she glared at the trainer and his Electabuzz, who gave a sly smirk. Now Electabuzz use Brick Break, the trainer said as his Pokémon gave a cry before its hands glowed white and he rushed the mythical Pokémon. Z didn't even react as it could tell the Pokémon was strong, but not as strong as her, so when it came charging in, she simply moved to the left and tripped the electric Pokémon, causing it to fall flat on its face. As Z laughed, but the Electabuzz just grew angry as roared out in anger as it ran straight for Z once again, but this time Z didn't dodge as her fists caught on fire and in the next instant appeared in front of Electabuzz, shocking him before pain appeared on its face and it was sent flying into a boulder near its trainer. Electabuzz, no, that's it, I done playing, said the kid as he took out another Pokeball. Hey. What are you doing? Naruto yelled as he ran up to the two with Z walking up to Naruto and the trainer glaring at him and Z. Listen kid, you better get out of my way, I called the Pokémon, he said as he raised his Pokeball and Electabuzz pulled itself out of the boulder. Well, sorry to break your feelings, but this Pokémon already has a trainer, Naruto said as he glared the trainer. Oh really, well then how about a match? If I win you give me that Pokémon and if I lose I'll give you this Pokémon, said the trainer. Sorry, but I don't battle with stakes, especially if they are as dumb as those, said Naruto as he turned around, but the Pokeball the trainer had shook before he dropped it and out popped a small purple Pokémon with giant ears that were green and a small horn on its head, but the most noticeable thing about it was the large scar that went down from his forehead to his right eye as it looked around before looking at its trainer and shaking in fear as it tried to curl up into a ball. Goddamn dumb Pokémon, always coming out when not needed, why don't you just do me a favor and die for me, the trainer said as he went to kick the Pokémon but jumped back in fright when a small burst of thunder hit his foot and looked at Z, who had a menacing look on her face, but the one that got him to almost piss himself was Naruto, who had a beyond pissed look in his eyes as it looked like they were red and had a demonic presence to it. You know what, I will battle you and if I win that Pokémon will be coming with me and you will never ever show your face around me or any other trainer, Naruto said as Z gave a cry of anger before jumping in front of him as the trainer quickly shook the fear out of him and gave a small smile. But now prepare to lose, go Rhyhorn, he then threw his Pokeball and out came a four-legged grey Pokémon with a large horn as Naruto took out his Pokédex. Rhyhorn Ground Rock. The Spike's Pokémon. Its massive bones are 1,000 times harder than human bones. It can easily knock a trailer flying. Z, let's show them what happens to trainers like him, said Naruto with his red eyes still present and Z having her paws spark up. Please, I know your Pokémon is an electric type and mine is a ground type, so you're at a disadvantage, the trainer said with a smile. Z, use close combat, Naruto said as in the next instant Z was in front of Rhyhorn scaring it before it was bombarded with fast-moving fists that sent it flying into the rock wall. What the quick Rhyhorn, get up and use Stone Egg, the trainer said. Z get in close and use throat chop and end it with slash, Naruto said as the emotion was gone from his voice, and Z appeared in front of the Rhyhorn who tried to use his move, but got hit in the throat as it cried out in pain, before in a blur, Z appeared behind him, with Rhyhorn standing still for a moment before falling over with swirls in its eyes. Rhyhorn Nuo. The trainer said with panic. Your Pokémon is unable to battle and you lose the bet, so as part of the bet I will take this Pokémon out of your hands, Naruto said as he went to grab the united Pokémon, but it flinched when it went to touch him making Naruto angry at its trainer, before scooping him into his arms as Z grabbed its Pokeball. No, I'm not done one more time, the trainer said. What's your name, Naruto said. What my name is of. What's your name? Yelled Naruto glaring his red eyes at the trainer as he backed up. My name is Obito Uchiha. What is your name, kid? The now name's Obito said. Of course it had to be an Uchiha, Naruto thought before turning around and walking away his destination the Pokémon Center. Hey. We aren't done yet. Don't turn your back on me, do you know who I am, what my family will do to you? I will, but whatever he was about to say was interrupted by Z grabbing him by his collar and slamming him into the ground. Z. He's not worth it, leave him, Naruto said as he walked away with Z growling before letting him go and following her trainer as Obito started to cough. Hey, what's your name? Obito asked as Naruto stopped and glared at him with his red eyes, giving Obito a frightened look as he back up. Naruto, and next time I see you, well you better pray I don't, Naruto warned before walking away as Obito looked on with a scared and thoughtful look. Naruto, where have I heard that name before, Obito thought. Pokémon Center. Naruto sat outside a window looking into the other side of the window, where the Nidoran was laying down with a monitor attached to it, watching its vitals as Nurse Joy was inside tending to it, even as it still had its scared look in its eyes. Which made Naruto both mad and sad as the few Pokémon he has seen in his life, this one looked like it was utterly terrified of humans. Sometimes humans disgust me, Z said as she walked beside him with his other Pokémon, also appearing around him with Talia sitting in his shoulder. If I wasn't human I'd agree, but I just can't stand it. I mean look at him, he looks no older than Blaze, Naruto said as Blaze walked up to the window and put his hand on the glass with worry on his face, the same as all the other Pokémon as out of all of them, he knew the experience that Nidoran went through. Suddenly Nurse Joy came out as they all went up to her. So how is he doing, Nurse Joy? Asked Naruto. Well, aside from the large wound on his eye, physical he is fine, but mentally Nidoran is suffering from mental trauma at the hands of this trainer. What was his name? Asked Nurse Joy. Obito Uchiha, Naruto said. Well, I'm going to need to report this to the officials of the Pokémon League and Officer Jenny, she said. Don't bother, I know the Uchiha, then run a massive company and are known as strong trainer, with one of them being Elite 4 member in Kalos, and from what I've heard a gym leader here in Kanto, Naruto said with a hint of anger. Still, for a trainer to not only hurt but torture their Pokémon is unforgivable, Nurse Joy said with hate. Nurse Joy, is it okay if we go inside and see him? He asked. Yes, but be wary, it's still scared of any human contact, she said as he walked inside and could tell the Nidoran was already scared from seeing him as he sat down by a chair next to him. It's okay, I'm not going to hurt you, I promise, he said. Don't be afraid, little one, Z said as the others also tried to cheer the Pokémon up as it slowly looked up at the others and looked into each of their eyes before staring into Naruto's blue eyes as he looked at them for a long time as his head started to raise up. I think he's starting to relax, said Naruto, but watched as the Nidoran quickly lowered its head as he felt his fear and pain. Chair. Blaze got up on the bed and walked up next to Nidoran as it looked at him weary before he sat down beside him and started to talk to him with Nidoran not looking at him but still listening if the twitch of the ear is anything to go by. What's he saying, Z? Asked Naruto. He's telling him to not be afraid of you, that he went through the same experience with a trainer that treated him just as wrongly. Till one day his nightmare ended when he met Yo, said Z. Naruto gave a small smile remembering the day that he met Blaze. It was one of the few times he traveled to Kalos to meet with one of the professors there that had discovered more about Mega Evolution, and at that time he was still a hyperactive kid, but it all changed when he came across a battle and saw two trainers ducking it out as one opponent had a shiny Charmander and the other a Trico. But in the end the Charmander lost badly as its trainer yelled at it pretty harshly, calling it names and such, before grabbing its Pokeball and destroying it right in front of it as the Charmander was kicked into a river with it almost drowning if it wasn't for his fast thinking and saving it. Of course the Charmander wanted to go back to its trainer but saw him talking smack about it at the nearest Pokémon Center, breaking its heart till he helped it and trained him to be strong, where once the two met again, he gave a mighty fire spin before running into his arms and the two started a journey that would be legendary. You know that story, and your big heart is what makes you unique, said Z. Oh come on, I'm just doing what any one of you would do, and that's help a innocent Pokémon when they need it, said Nordo as he saw the Nidoran looking at Blaze with big sad eyes as Blaze petted its back. It seems Nidoran has trusted Blaze, Z said. That's good now only if it can trust us, Naruto said as he went to pet it, but it flinched as he backed his hand away. Chair. How what is it Blaze? Naruto asked. He's asking if we can take Nidoran with us, Z said. I don't know I mean I can tell it doesn't want to be anywhere near humans and. Naruto in my years with you has that ever stopped you and more importantly has the care of one Pokémon driven you to do whatever it takes to care for it, Z said as Naruto looked down at the scared Pokémon before giving a bright smile. Yes I guess you're right. Hey Blaze ask him if he would like to journey with us, asked Naruto as Blaze cried out in joy before telling the Nidoran who looked down in worry. Don't worry little one this guy here is really special trust us, Z said as the others also agreed with Nidoran looking at him with scared eyes. How about this I won't put you in your Pokeball and you can walk along beside me what do you say, Naruto asked the little purple Pokémon who looked at Blaze who nodded his head as Nidoran gave a small chirp in response with Naruto smiling before going to go tell Nurse Joy. After much begging from both him and Blaze, Nurse Joy had let them off to go into with Nidoran who was walking beside him and Blaze who was walking along with him to make things easier for him. They had just entered the mountain as it was one of the few ways to get to Cerulean City and right now this was the only option. So you do know your way through here right, asked Z. Wait I thought you knew, asked Naruto with a raised eyebrow. Naruto I'm a Pokémon why would I know the route through cave, Z asked with a sweat drop as Naruto's foolishness. Hey I just thought okay, and besides it can't be that complicated, said Naruto. A few hours later. So do you want to admit that we are lost now, Z asked. Shut up Z and let's rest over here, he said as the four sat down by a ledge that overlooked a small clearing below with a bunch more tunnels. So any plans on how we get out of here, asked Z. Don't worry I'll figure it out I always do don't I, said Naruto with an air of triumph. Sure you do Naruto. Sure you do, Z said as she munched on a few berries while Blaze and Nidoran munched on their poke food. Suddenly a loud banging noise could be heard below and the group looked down to see a group of men in a black outfit with a big red R on their shirts as they moved some equipment and a large cage that held a small batch of Clefairy that cried out for help as one of the men knocked on the bars silencing them. Shit Team Rocket are here what are they up to, wondered Naruto as he ducked behind a rock. Whatever it isn't good, Z said as the other two looked on with either curious or angry looks. We can't leave them in their hands Z we gotta do something, said Naruto. I know Naruto, but we gotta come up with a plan first, said Z, but didn't have time to elaborate as Blaze gave a war cry before jumping down and firing a batch of embers scaring the thugs. Well there goes that idea, Naruto said as he followed his Pokémon down. Damn you and Blaze are too much alike, said Z as she and Nidoran followed suit. What the hell a kid what's he doing down here? I don't know, but let's get rid of him. And let's get his Pokémon look it looks like he's got some goody ones for us, the three Team Rocket grunts then took out their Pokeballs and each let out of their Pokémon with one having a Ekans and the other two a Zubat. Alright Zubat Supersonic. Ekans Poison Sting the two Pokémon each fires their own attacks at the four. Quick Blaze used Mega Punch on the ground, then Z used Thunderbolt, Naruto said as Blaze slammed his enhanced hand into the ground, causing rocks to come up and block the triple attack, with Z jumping over them and firing her own attack, shocking all three Pokémon. No damn this kid is something else. We have to retreat. Are you kidding do you know what the boss will do to us? What will I do? Suddenly the three froze and turned around to see a figure walk in wearing a black and white coat with boots that clicked on the ground and the letter R on his front shirt as his glasses gave him a menacing look. Oh no another one, said Naruto. And this one doesn't look like no ordinary grunt, said Z softly. You young man are interfering with our plans and must be dealt with accordingly. Suddenly the boss grunt sent out two Pokeballs and out came two identical Pokémon, each with bulging muscles, as Magic cried out its name. Oh shit, was Naruto's only thought as both Pokémon rushed them. Use Karate Chop, was all the boss grunt said as their hands glowed white. Z fight back with your dual chop and Blaze hit him with fire spin, Z then charged forward and met one of them halfway blocking his chop with her own while the other rushed past only to meet Blaze's fire spin which stopped it in its tracks. Don't let it stop you Magic break through and use seismic toss, the boss grunt said as Magic clapped its hands blowing the fire away before rushing at Blaze. Blaze don't let him get close Mega Punch, Naruto said as Blaze charged in and swung its fist only for Magic to duck it and grab a hold before jumping up and spinning around before throwing him into the ground. Blaze. Z looked behind to see Blaze get sent crashing into the ground as she continued her fight with Magic. Don't take your eyes off your opponent Magic revenge, suddenly Z was sent flying back and into a wall as Naruto looked stared in shock. Z no, but was taken back as Magic sent him into the arms of one of the grunts. Now we got you punk. Not so tough for you. Looks like he has more Pokémon. One of them grabbed his other Pokeballs but got headbutted as Naruto struggled to free himself but got kicked in the stomach company causing him to cough up before being beaten by the three around him. Enough toying with him. Now Magic finished them off, the boss grunt said as both grunted and went to finish the two Pokémon off as Nidoran looked on scared for its life, seeing its only friend about to be killed. But looked over to see Naruto struggling to get up and save his Pokémon as he reached out his hand to Blaze, and looking into his eyes again, he saw the compassion he had for him, and care not caring of the pain he was in the Nidoran grinder, its teeth before in a flash it slammed into the Magic, sending him skidding back next to the other one, as the two looked at the small purple Pokémon. "Ah, looks like one of your Pokémon is still fighting, hahaha," said one of the grunts as he held Naruto up. "Nidoran, run," Naruto said out of pain. Nidoran didn't listen and cried out in anger as the two Magic laughed at it. As the boss grunt gave them a signal with the two charging at the small purple Pokémon. But it didn't run away in fear and charged straight in as it ducked under the wild fist before jumping up and running along one of the Magic's arms and giving it a double kick to its face and using it to propel itself over to the three grunts. The three were shocked but couldn't do nothing as it shot poison sting at the three, causing them to run away and let Naruto go. "Nidoran, you saved me," Naruto said shocked as Nidoran gave a happy call before nuzzling him and licking some blood and dirt off him. "You're still outclassed," the boss grunt said as one of the Magic took a step, but the two were blown away by a thunderbolt as Z appeared beside Naruto a little winded. "Are you okay, Naruto?" she asked. "I should be asking you that," Naruto said as he stood up. "Enough of this, you three, bring out more of your Pokémon." The three scared grunts nodded and were about to bring them out before a burst of fire blew them off their toes as Blaze stood up with a burning look in his eyes as he gave a massive war cry. "Char." Suddenly it got enveloped in a bright white light as all those looked on in shock as Blaze started to evolve with its tail growing longer and its body getting a bit taller till it died down and revealed its new appearance. "Charmeleon." "Whoa, Blaze, you evolved," Naruto said in shock before he raised his Pokédex. Charmeleon, fire. The flame Pokémon. When it swings its burning tail, it elevates the temperature to unbearably high levels. "Its will never ceases to amaze me," said Z. "Now you guys are in trouble," said Naruto. "It matters not, Magics, go deal with them and use Karate Chop," the two muscle Pokémon rushed them. "Alright Z, get in close and use Throat Chop followed by Fire Punch." "Blaze, you block his attempts with Double Kick and follow it up with Ember," Naruto said, but Nidoran shook his leg. "Yo, you wanna help buddy, alright," then Nidoran used Poison Sting to help Blaze. Z rushed at the Magic and ducked under his attack before hitting his throat as the Magic coughed up a little before getting punched in the gut by a flaming fist and another round to the face sending him falling down. Blaze meanwhile blocked the chops with his feet as the two were at a standstill until Nidoran came up behind and shot its poison sting distracting Magic and giving Blaze enough time to unleash a torrent of flames, only it was blue as it flinched as a response and Blaze took it as an opportunity and nodded to Nidoran who gave a small smile and rushed behind Magic before slamming into him as Blaze had fire coming out of his mouth before jumping up and slamming his flaming teeth into Magic, causing it to cry out in fear before fire enveloped him showing he was burned. "Awesome. Blaze, you know new moves and good job Nidoran," Naruto said as the two gave small smirks. "Damn this kid, everyone retreat," the boss grunt said as he returned his defeated Pokémon and the rest of the team left heading for the exit. "Whoa, that was a close call," said Naruto as he sighed out in exhaustion. "The clothes for comfort too, but we at least got them to retreat," said Z also feeling a little tired. "Yeah, but let's free these Pokémon," Naruto said as Z broke the lock and the Set Moon Pokémon were free and danced around in joy before one of them came up to Naruto and handed him a small little stone. For me, but what is it?" asked Naruto, but the Clefairy just smiled and danced around as they started to head into another tunnel and back to where they came from as Naruto was clueless and looked down at the weird rock. "It's a moonstone," said Z. "A moonstone, but these are rare on its own, why give me it?" questioned Naruto. "I don't know, but keep it for further use later," said Z as the four each got up and started to make their way into a random tunnel, but Naruto quickly noticed something on one of the crates. What is it's a map?" he yelled in happiness. "Well, at least we don't have to keep wandering around aimlessly," Z said. "Hey, I would've found us a way out," said Naruto. "Sure you would've, Naruto," Z said as she rolled her eyes. Yeah, anyway let's get out of here, shall we?" Naruto said as the four started their trek out of. 30 minutes later. We are finally out of there," said Naruto as he cried out in joy with his other Pokémon also happy. "And here I thought we would never get out even with a map," Z said. Nidoran then walked up to Naruto and shook his leg as he looked down at the purple Pokémon as it started to nuzzle his leg showing it's not afraid of him anymore and that put a smile on his face as he lifted Nidoran into his arms. "So what do you say now, buddy, wanna join us?" he asked as he raised a Pokeball and his only response was for Nidoran to push the small button as he was sucked to the Pokeball and it clicked signaling it was caught with Naruto, Blaze and Z giving their own smiles as another companion to join the road. Welcome aboard on this crazy adventure, King. Chapter 5. The Raging Water Battle. Naruto blinked open his eyes as the beating rays of the sun shined down on him, and he stood up as he stretched his muscles, hearing a couple of pops and yawned as he looked down into the river, where his Pokémon were all gladly lofting around, and Z sitting up on a tree, relaxing as Samuel and Talia were doing some light training ahead of their gym battle, as Naruto had decided that Samuel was the best bet since he was the only one besides Z who could handle the water-type gym. It also didn't help that Z did not want to participate in any gyms unless it got real serious. Also Talia had basically insisted that she battle, saying she was ready, so Naruto, believing in her, said he would bring her to her first gym battle. He looked to the side where he saw Blaze, Leonardo and King all having a talk about something he couldn't make out, but he thought it was something personal. "So Naruto, mind telling me why we are heading away from the gym?" questioned Z. "Well, I promised Gramps I'd visit Bill and see how he's been since he hasn't called him in a while, and that guy still owes me for getting him that evolution info," Naruto said as he started to pack some of his things. "Ah, but you did get gift from him. I mean, EV has been a wild one since the day Bill gave him to us," Z said as he remembered the PC creator from the days of old. "True, I wonder how EV has been," said Naruto. "I still don't understand why you left him with Oak. We could have taken him with us," said Z. "I did really, but Gramps said EV was still trying to improve a move. She was working even more and wanted to do great in her first battle," Naruto said. "So you want to head out now," said Z. "Yeah, if we hope to get there before it's too late to challenge the gym leader," Naruto said as he told his other Pokémon it would be time to leave as they rushed over to him. As he returned everyone to their Pokeballs expect Z, he started his trek through the trees and through the city as he made his way over a bridge as the only way to make it to Bill's place of work. But as he neared the end of the bridge he saw what looked like a battle taking place as it was nearing its end, and the younger of the two was sweating as his Oddish was on its last legs, trying to fight back the Ekans as it hissed at the small grass Pokémon. "Nice try, kid, but now would be a good time to give up," the older man said as he wore a big hat with overalls that covered most of his appearance. "Never," yelled the kid as Oddish also gave a war cry before charging in. Ahaha, hopeless Ekin's poison sting, the snake Pokémon unleashed a barrage of wide arrows that hit the Oddish and made it fly towards its trainer as the two fell down with the Pokémon having swirls in its eyes. "Oddish, are you okay, Oddish?" the kid asked as the larger man laughed. "Next time don't mess with someone far superior," said the man as he went to grab his Oddish but was stopped as another hand stopped him. "I don't know what you're gonna do, but I'ma have to stop you," Naruto said. "Kid, you have no idea who you're dealing with," the guy said as he yanked his hand away. "Well, why don't we get acquainted? My name is Naruto and this here is Samuel," yelled Naruto as he threw out his Pokeball and his Bulbasaur came out screaming and ready for battle. "If that's what you want, kid, then let's get to it." Suddenly he removed his getup revealing a black shirt with the letter R on the front of it. "Team Rocket," Naruto said in shock. "Ah, so you heard of us. Good, then this will make it all the worthwhile," the grunt said. "Oh no, it will make it worthwhile for me. Samuel, go Razor Leaf," Naruto said. "Ekans use Dig to dodge." The grunt's Pokémon quickly burrowed underground as sharp leaves cams flying where it once stood. "Shit, Samuel, keep you guard up," Naruto said as he looked around waiting for Ekans to pop up. "Now Ekans use Wrap and follow it up with Bite," the grunt said as suddenly Ekans burst from underneath and wrapped itself around Samuel, squeezing him as he cried in pain before Ekans bit down on his seed, causing him to cry out in even more pain. "Small," yelled Naruto in worry. "Now you regret messing with Team Rocket," the grunt said. "We ain't done yet," Samuel lied, Naruto said as Samuel closed its eyes, concentrating and gathering the damage it was taking. "That won't help you, Ekin's poison sting," the grunt said as Ekans unleashed a barrage of its attack. "Hang in there, Samuel," Naruto said as Bulbasaur kept in it with as the attacks continued. "Enough of this, Ekans, end this with Bite," the grunt said as Ekans hissed at Samuel, who gave a small grin which Naruto noticed and gave one as well. "Samuel now," Naruto yelled as Samuel unleashed all its stored power, hitting Ekans point blank and releasing him from its grasp as it went sailing to the grunt as the two fell flat on the ground. "Damn kid and their damn Pokémon," the grunt said. "Good job, Samuel, now let's Naruto said as he noticed a big seed atop its head glow as small little white energy started to pour into it. "Ah, we ain't done with you yet, Kaiwa," the grunt said before having a confused face as he saw the Bulbasaur gathering energy under the bright sun. "Bulbasaur." Samuel suddenly unleashed a powerful beam of green energy that hit the grunt and his Pokémon before they were sent flying far away, screaming as Naruto looked on in shock before smiling and yelling in joy before going over to hug the seed Pokémon before stopping realizing his Pokémon was still injured. "Good job, Samuel, you won and learned a new move," Naruto said as Samuel cried in joy. "It seems like Team Rocket's actions are getting more wild and crazy," Z said as she talked to him through the Pokeball. "Yeah, I wonder what they are doing so out in the light. Usually they be doing stuff like this in the dark to not get caught," thought Naruto. Hey thanks man, if you didn't show up he would have taken my Pokémon or worse, the kid said as he bowed to Naruto who had massive sweat drop. No worries kid, anything to help a fellow trainer. Now why don't you get that oddish to the Pokémon Center, Naruto said as the kid does his head before running off to heal his Pokémon. That battle kinda sidetracked us you know, Z said. Yeah, but helping out someone with a burning determination like that is all the more fun, Naruto said before returning Samuel and walking back towards the path to Bill's home. Bill's house. Hello. Bill. You here, Naruto said as he walked inside the small little house, noticing all the papers around, along with boxes that hadn't been moved in a while, if the dust is anything to go by. What? Naruto, is that you? Suddenly out of the back came a middle-aged man with a tall physique as his brown shaggy hair waved as he walked in and looked at the blonde-haired man. Hey Bill, it's been a while, Naruto said as the two shook hands. So how you've been and why are you here, asked Bill. Well Gramps has been trying to connect you for about a week and you haven't answered, so he sent me a message to come and check on you, said Naruto as he sat down in one of his chairs. Oh sorry, but I've been busy with the studying of evolutions. I'm sure you've dealt with mega evolutions before, said Bill. Yeah actually Kalos was my last visit before I came to become a trainer, said Naruto. Oh really, and what did you learn, asked Bill excited. Well not as much as I wanted since I was only there for a limited amount of time. But maybe Gramps learned something with the data I was able to bring back, Naruto said. Well let's give him a call, Bill said as he moved to his computer and started to push a few buttons as suddenly a ringing was heard for a few seconds as the screen then showed Professor Oak looking at some papers before looking up at the screen with a smile. Why Bill my boy, where have you been? I have been trying to reach you all week, Oak said. Sorry Professor, but I have been trying to figure out this evolution theory, you know, the new Megan, said Bill. Well I wished you had contacted me earlier as I was able to figure some things out with the data Naruto brought me, Oak said as suddenly a small yip was heard before Eevee popped on the screen and tried to go through the screen. Hey Eevee, how have you been? Bill asked as he gave a small smile with Eevee crying out in joy. Hey Eevee, still driving the old man crazy, Naruto said as he appeared behind Bill as Eevee cried in joy, trying to go through the screen and jump into his arms. Well Naruto my old boy, Eevee has been less wild as of late, though it has been getting quite wild waiting for your call, Oak said. Oh really? Naruto asked. Yup, it would seem Eevee is finally ready to join your little team, Oak said. Well I'll be. What do you say Eevee, you ready to join the team? Naruto asked as Eevee jumped for joy. Yes I guess that answers that, though from what your info says you already have a full team, Oak said. Don't worry Gramps, I'll just send Z's Pokeball to you, but she'll be with me, Naruto said as Oak nodded his head before Naruto started to press buttons on his Poke Watch before grabbing Z's Pokeball with her outside of it before he sent it to Oak, and out of the transfer came another Pokeball which he grabbed and released as Eevee came out and cried in happiness before smashing into Naruto and snuggling into him. It seems like the old Eevee that was shy of you is no more, Bill said. Yeah I mean a few years with me and anyone would be as wild, hahaha, Naruto laughed as petted Eevee before it jumped off and started to wander around the place. So what new information were you able to find Naruto? Bill asked as Naruto sat down so the three could discuss. As they were having a convo between researchers, Eevee was busy playing around with all the boxes as she jumped up on a stack of papers before accidentally losing his footing as he tried to stay on top, shooting papers everywhere before slipping and falling into a couple of boxes, causing them to fall as 3 stones fell in front of Eevee, who looked up from the mess he made as it sniffed each stone, with one being red with a small fire symbol in the middle. The other one was blue with a small tear in the middle, and the last one was yellow with a bolt of thunder in the middle. Eevee looked at all 3, sniffing each one until her eyes widened and a smirk appeared on his mouth before touching one of the stones, causing it Eevee to shine in a bright white light. I think I heard Eevee over here, said Bill as he and Naruto walked past a group of boxes to witness the white light as both had wide eyes as the light died down to show a new Pokémon. Well I guess this changes some things, Naruto said as he gave a smile at his newest evolution. Cerulean Gym. Hello. Misty jumped out of the water finishing her routine exercises for the day before looking to the entrance where a young boy maybe a few years younger than herself was with wild untamed blonde hair was as he looked around before spotting her and blushing a little at seeing her wet and in a swimsuit which made her laugh a little. Yes, how can I help you today young man, Misty said. Young man, I'm pretty sure you're not any older than me, as for why I'm here, well to be quite frank, I am here to challenge the Cerulean Gym leader for a battle, Naruto said. Ah, so you're a trainer, well then you're just in luck that I'm done with my daily exercises for the day, so I'm pretty pumped up for more, Misty said as she raised a Pokeball. So you're the gym leader then, Naruto said. Yeah, and I'm to show you that you're still just a kid when facing on of the Kanto gym leaders, she said as she walked to the other side of the pool. Oh trust me, I'm more than you know, Naruto said as he walked to the opposite side of the pool. Misty pushed a button on her side as the pool suddenly shifted and they were lifted up as the pool grew bigger and platforms came up with a screen being shown of underwater. Alright, since you seem so cocky, then you should know that only 2 Pokémon are allowed and that once one side Pokémon are unable to battle, the other shall be named the victor. And of course you are the only one allowed to switch Pokémon, she said. Alright, then let's get started, shall we, Naruto said. We shall go Staryu. Misty then threw out her Pokeball as Arfame, a brown star-shaped Pokémon with a red ruby in the middle, as it gave off a cry of battle. The Staryu, huh, Naruto said as he lifted his Poke Watch. Staryu water, the star-shaped Pokémon. Large number of these Pokémon make their home at the seaside. At night a strange red glow radiates from the center of their bodies. Now let's see what you've got. Oh, I forgot to ask for your name, Misty asked with a sweat drop. Well, my name is Naruto and you better be prepared, go Talia. Naruto's shiny bird Pokémon came out and gave a war cry as it flew around the area looking down at the star Pokémon. Alright, then let's get this battle underway. Staryu use Bubble Beam, Misty called out as Staryu fires a jet stream of bubbles at Talia. Quick Talia, dodge it and use quick attack, Naruto called out with Talia flying around dodging each bubble before she dived down and in burst of speed slammed into Staryu, sending her flying into a wall as it sunk into the water. Your Pokémon is quite fast, but can it keep up with my underwater Pokémon, Misty said, as out of the water came Staryu as it slammed into Talia as the two came crashing down into the water. Talia! Yelled Naruto in shock as she came bursting out of the water struggling to fly out. Staryu rapid spin, Misty said as Talia could do nothing as it was sent flying from a spinning Staryu as she landed on one of the floating platforms. Talia, are you okay, can you continue, Naruto asked with worry in his voice as Talia got up and shook off the water as she cried out an okay. Seems your Pokémon is stronger than it looks. Well, if that's the case, Staryu water pulse, Misty called out as Staryu came out of the water and shot off a burst of water. Talia fly up and dodge, then use double team, Talia quickly flew up and started to create copies of itself as Staryu looked around not knowing where to shoot. Well, if you think that will stop us, you got another thing coming. Staryu, get rid of them with Swift, Misty called out as Staryu unleashed a number of golden stars that were hitting all the Pidgey clones. Talia, get in close with quick attack and use Peck, called out Naruto as Talia gave a battle cry before swooping down as the swift attack followed after it from behind. But as it came speeding towards the Staryu, a white light covered its wings as in a burst of speed it passed by Staryu before it could react as it stood still before the swift attack collided with it and an explosion occurred as smoke covered everyone's vision and as it disappeared it showed a panting Talia with a knocked out Staryu. Staryu, no, Misty said as she saw her Pokémon was knocked out. It would seem this round goes to me, Naruto said with a smile as Misty returned her Pokémon. I gotta admit you surprised me with that last move, but don't think it will be this easy, Misty said as she took out her next Pokeball. Well, to be honest, I didn't expect that either. In fact, Talia didn't know wing attack before coming here, Naruto said as he scratched his head in embarrassment. You don't say, well it better get used to it because here comes more Ghost Starmie. Misty's next Pokémon was just like Staryu, only bigger and was purple as it spun her around the field before landing on one of the platforms. A Starmie, Naruto then raises his Poke Watch. Starmie Water Psychic, the mysterious Pokémon. Its center's core glows in several different colors just like a rainbow. Some value the core like a gem. A strong one, alright then Talia, you good to keep on going, Naruto asked his flying bird who nodded in response. Alright then let's get this battle started. Starmie use Water Pulse, Misty called out as Starmie fires a pulse of water. Talia double team, then get in close and use Peck, Naruto said as his bird quickly multiples before the Starmie's attack could hit it and the copies circled around the Starmie who looked around trying to find the real one before from behind one of the Pidgey came in close and started to peck the purple star. Don't let him continue. Starmie use rapid spin to get rid of the copies and follow it up with Pishock, Misty said as Starmie quickly jumped into the water and came out a ways away before hitting each clone, before finding the real one and knocking her onto one of the platforms, but as she was trying to get up the Starmie fired a bolt of purple and pink energy that struck Talia directly. Talia, no, Naruto said as Talia landed on its back with swirls in its eyes. Seems like now we are both down to our last Pokémon, said Misty with a smirk. Oh, don't worry, I got someone just for this job, Naruto said as he pulled out a Pokeball before he threw his Pokémon onto the field and out of it came a yellow four-legged Pokémon that had its fur spiked and a white collar as it gave a mighty cry. A Jolteon, Misty said with worry. I was gonna use my Bulbasaur, but Bill told me that you had something for him, so I was gonna use my EV, but after going through his stuff, he stumbles upon a couple of his stones, with one of them being a Thunderstone, and of course he touched it, allowing him to evolve into my new companion Bolt, Naruto said as his new friend Bolt cried out in happiness before staring at his opponent. Doesn't matter if your Pokémon has the type advantage, because we can win this now. Starmie, use rapid spin, Misty called out as Starmie started to spin towards Bolt. Alright Bolt, hold your ground and catch it with bite, Naruto called out as the Starmie came sailing, but Bolt held its ground before opening its mouth and biting down, just as he was about to be struck. Starmie, no. Yelled Misty. Now Bolt, let's end this with discharge, Naruto said as Bolt gave a small smirk as electricity started to pour out of him before bursting out and shocking Starmie, who cried out in pain, then stopped as Starmie fell on the platform with a swirl in its ruby. Starmie, no, Misty said as she jumped towards her Pokémon before getting it into her arms as she held it close. That was a good battle, and to be honest, if I didn't have Bolt, it wouldn't have turned out the way I wanted, Naruto said with a sweat drop. Yeah, well, you weren't so bad yourself, Misty said as she walked up to him before grabbing something from a bag in the corner and walking over to him. This here is the Cascade badge and signifies that you have beaten me, so congratulations Naruto, Misty said as Naruto gladly took it with a smile. Alright, I got the Cascade badge, Naruto said as he struck a pose with Bolt shouting in joy. So what gym do you plan on challenging after this, Misty questioned. Well, I haven't thought of that yet, as there are 3 gyms I could go after. I think I'll let the wind guide me, Naruto said. Well, hopefully it will lead you to a worthy challenge, Misty said as she shook his hand and he set off to the Pokémon Center, where he took his 2 Pokémon to get healed and for some rest and relaxation. Hey, did you hear that some Team Rocket goon has been breaking into some houses around here? Really, what did they steal? I don't know, but apparently one of the houses belonged to an employee and the police think some of his work was stolen. Really, what kind of work? I don't know, but let's hope Team Rocket doesn't steal from us. As Naruto was eating his food, he was listening to the conversation behind him as he had a raised eyebrow as he wondered what Team Rocket was doing robbing from the employee, though he guessed it might be something to do with them developing a new type of Pokeball that, from what he heard, can catch any Pokémon with a 100% catch success rate. So are we going to go investigate or what? Asked Z from her Pokeball. Yeah, I guess we can, though I don't know if the police will allow us on the crime scene, thought Naruto. Oh come on, you have helped Officer Jenny's in the past, maybe this one will allow it, Z said. Yeah, I guess we can see, Naruto thought before finishing up and walking up to the counter where his Pokémon were waiting as he thanked Nurse Joy before walking out into the full moon and continued his trek to where he heard the crime happened, though as he arrived at the house, he heard a crash from behind the house as he narrowed his eyes and Z came out of her Pokeball and the two went around to the back. Damn, old man hiding these files in the yard, a Team Rocket grunt said as he grabbed a box from the dirt, but then it was yanked out of his hands as he grew confused, then wide-eyed and turned around only to meet a knee to the face as he was knocked down. Don't try and get up, Naruto said as he had a shovel near the man's face as the man grew scared. Hey kid, calm down, let's talk this out, the grunt said. Then mind telling me why you were doing here, Naruto asked as Z appeared by him and the grunt looked at the Pokémon before his eyes widened. Hey, I know you and that Pokémon, you're the kid that's been causing Team Rocket trouble lately, the grunt said. Well, at least I know now that an evil organization has their eyes on me, thought Naruto with a sweat drop. Our boss has also taken a great interest in you and has told all of us to bring you to him, the grunt said as he went to grab one of his Pokeballs, but Z growled at him, causing him to cower in fear. Wouldn't try that unless you want to be fired to a crisp, Naruto said with a smile. Now you want to tell me what these papers are for, he asked with a little bit of force. And what makes you think I'm going to tell you, asked the grunt before the shovel was stabbed just too close to his lower area. I'm thinking you're gonna need this, so before I get rid of it, you might want to start talking, Naruto said as he stabbed even closer to it. Alright. Listen, I don't know much because I'm just a grunt, but the boss wanted these plans so that we could learn more about the new Pokeball is designing, he said. What new Pokeball? Naruto asked. I don't know, some kind of XM ball said to be able to catch a Pokémon of unimaginable power, the grunt said as Naruto narrowed his eyes. So what does your boss plan to do with this? Naruto asked. I don't know, I was just sent here to get some papers from this guy's house, the grunt said. What the hell could he be planning? Do you know where your boss is right now? Asked Naruto. No, all I was told was to meet in Lavender Town, but even if I did know I wouldn't tell a kid Lee, but he was knocked out by a thunderbolt as Naruto threw the shovel away. So Z, what do you think? Naruto asked. It seems like Team Rocket plans on going after more than just regular Pokémon, she said. Yeah, and if my data is correct, most of the legendary birds along with legendary Pokémon around the world have made a home almost close to civilization, Naruto said. Why can't we ever just have a normal journey without running into evil organizations? Z said. I mean, that's part of the fun, right? Hahaha. Chapter 6. The Ghost Hour. So what exactly are we doing here again? How should I know? We were all told the same thing, come here and meet one of the bosses here for an important mission. Still, the least they could do is tell us. I mean, this town gives me the creeps, but this place scares me half to death. Oh, shut up and help me with this, and shut up, there is no such things as ghost. Two Team Rocket grunts were moving a large machine as it was a small power cell to an even bigger machine, as other Team Rocket grunts were somewhere else in the building, probably up on the top floor, making sure everything was set for what this machine would do. As they were walking away from it, a small shadow appeared behind the two as they continued talking, not at once noticing the shadow coming closer until they felt someone was staring at them, and as they turned around all they saw were the gravestones of the dead Pokémon. Weird, I could have sworn I. Thunderbolt. The two grunts were suddenly hit with a big bolt of electricity as they shook from it and fell down unconscious as the shadow appeared in front of their down bodies as a blur appeared next to him before they looked stared when a light was flashed to them and the two turned around to an old man with white hair and a plain brown t-shirt. You didn't have to go overboard, Naruto. Yeah, well, when it comes to Team Rocket things are different with me, Mr. Fuji, Naruto said as his red eyes stared at the daycare man. That anger won't help you down the long road, Naruto, Mr. Fuji said. Yeah, well, I'll be calm when Team Rocket is out of here. I mean, what could they need with all this equipment, Naruto questioned. I don't know, my boy, but feeling angry won't solve anything. Trust me when I say I've seen young trainers like yourself become angry, and that anger can lead to rash decisions, most of them bad, Fuji said as he walked past the two and continued upstairs. He's right, you know. You can't let your feelings get out of control, Z said. So now you're against me on this, Naruto said as he walked past Z. Naruto, I know how you're feeling and you can't let your anger control you, Z said. So why aren't you with me, Zeri? Or after all they've done to the Pokémon, why can't they suffer just as much, Naruto said. Because I've let my anger take hold of me once and it cost me a lot, Z said as she looked down, remembering a time where things were always dark for her, as Naruto looked on slowly calming down as his red eyes remained, but he felt less angry as he looked down feeling regret. Sorry Z, I just don't want more Pokémon to feel the same as Vulpix does, Naruto said as he shed a few tears. Then let's make sure no other Pokémon is injured and stop Team Rocket, Z said as the two had a smirk as they continued their way upstairs. Now you might wondering what was happening and why the three are inside the Pokémon Tower. Well, to know that we gotta go back just a little bit. 2 hours ago. Naruto was walking through the rock tunnel as he found it to be the quickest way to Lavender Town, though he did have to face a few trainers on the way. It did help improve his Pokémon as they were stronger than they were before. Z jumped up into a tree as she stretched, feeling sore from all the walking, though she stopped and pointed ahead as the town was just over the hill, and the two smiled as they reached the town, quickly noticing the different feel in the atmosphere, along with the town's nature. Though Naruto understood why, as this place was most notable for having the Pokémon Tower where people could go and say their prayers for their Pokémon that are no longer with them. Stop. Naruto suddenly stopped as he saw a little girl with red hair running out of an alley as she came running towards him, not noticing till the last moment as she crashed into him. Though he managed to stay upright, she fell down on her butt as Naruto looked at her in confusion. Hey, are you okay? Naruto asked as he tried to help her up. There she is. Naruto looked up and glared his eyes as he saw 4 Team Rocket grunts come rushing around the corner. Team Rocket? What are you doing here and what do you want with the girl? Naruto said. Who's the kid? One grunt said. Who cares, her mission is that girl. Go Zubid, another grunt said as he threw his Pokeball, releasing his Zubid along with the others throwing their Pokémon out as another Zubid came out along with a coughing and a Rattata. You're gonna have to get past me to get to the girl. Blaze, King, let's get them. Naruto then threw his 2 Pokeballs out as his Charmeleon and Nidoran came out both roaring and ready for battle. You won't stop Team Rocket. Zubid bite. Zubid use you Supersonic. Coughing Smog. Rattata get in close and use Hyper Fang. Quick King go underneath by using Dig and Blaze meet those two head on with Metal Claw, Naruto said as his 2 Pokémon quickly went into action with King burrowing into the ground as Blaze charged forward, claws taking on a silver color as he used to block the Zubid and Rattata attack. Shit, where did his Pokémon go? One of the grunts said as both Coughing and Zubid looked around, not noticing the ground crack underneath them. Now King double kick. Suddenly King popped out from underneath the two and jumped up to them before kicking them both in the face as they fell to the ground. Zubid no. Damn kid. Rattata finished that Charmeleon with an iron tail. The Rattata then jumped back as its tail turned silver before charging at the fire lizard. Blaze catch it. Suddenly Blaze turned around and caught the sliver tail. What? The grunt said, shocked along with his Pokémon. Now Fire Fang followed by Mega Punch, Naruto called out as Blaze gave a small smirk before his mouth caught a blaze, and Rattata screamed in pain as it caught on fire, before Blaze reared his glowing fist before punching the normal Pokémon, who went sailing crashing into Zubid as the two collapsed knocked out. Coughing get up and take it out with Body Slam, the Rocket grunt said as his Coughing charged at the purple Pokémon. Zubid help him out and use Wing Attack. The two Pokémon quickly converged on the poison Pokémon. Quick Nidoran used coughing as leverage and Horn attacked the Zubat Naruto, then watched as Nidoran springboard off of coughing and slammed his glowing horn into Zubat, causing it to cry out in pain before fainting. Damn, this kid is going through us like butter, one of the grunts said. RRRRH, coughing you smog, the last grunt with a Pokémon said as coughing blew purple smoke covering the grunts, and as it disappeared they were gone. Well, that settles it then, Naruto said before turning around towards the scared girl. Thank you Naruto, and you are? Sarah, I'm one of the caregivers at the Pokémon care house, Sarah said as she shook his hand. Why were those guys after you, asked Naruto. I don't know, but it probably has something to do with this, she then revealed a small little black orb. Wonder what this thing is, Naruto asked. I don't know, Mr. Fuji gave it to me as they were arriving into town, and it seems Team Rocket really wanted to get their hands on it, she said as she gave it to Naruto, who looked at it with a raised eyebrow. Wade is back in town. I heard he went on a trip somewhere far away, Naruto asked. Yeah, but he returned just yesterday, and that orb is one of the gifts he brought back with him, Sarah said. Where is right now, asked Naruto. Right now he is at the care house helping the Pokémon Team Rocket hurt when they arrived, Sarah said. Take me to him. Pokémon Tower. Sorry sir, but we were unable to get the girl and the orb she was carrying, one of the grunts who had gone after Sarah said. And why pray tell did four of you fail to get one little girl, a man of average build with dark brown hair, a grey overcoat with a letter R on it, white cameo pants and a grey mask covering the lower part of his face. We're sorry boss, it's just that we had her cornered, but this kid with blonde hair came and took us out. Yeah, his Pokémon were too strong and… Enough. Failure is not an option with me. I want you four to return back to base and send me 4 more capable soldiers. But boss. Now. The man said as the 4 cowered back before running off. You know, if your standards weren't so high for some of the grunts they send our way, you would have more of them around, and Giovanni wouldn't be on your ass every second. A tall girl with dark brown hair tied into a bun, wearing a green and white long sleeve with body armor over it that had the letter R on the front, as well as black pants. Haku already back from your mission, the man said. Well, it wasn't even that hard, Zabuza, as all you had me do was take over the tower, and everyone there is just there to mourn their Pokémon, Haku said to the now identified Zabuza. Still, you're more trustworthy to get your mission done than most of these fools, Zabuza said as he walked towards a small machine. What does this thing even do, asked Haku. From what the scientist back at base said, it's supposed to locate the specific target signatures of Pokémon with a high output of aura, Zabuza said. Aura? Haku asked. Yes, well, from what I was able to understand, aura is basically the power output of Pokémon, or more specifically, legendary Pokémon. Yes, and this place holds aura from the death of all the Pokémon, thus it was the perfect place for this machine, Zabuza said. Still feels kinda wrong to take this place by force when all the people of this town want to do is send prayers to their dead Pokémon, Haku said. Betting all settlement on me, Haku, please. If we want to tell our Pokémon how much we miss them, we can tell them once we ourselves have passed on, Zabuza said as he walked away with Haku sighing and following after him. Pokémon care house. Sarah, my girl, oh, I'm glad you're safe. A kind old man with white hairs and a simple overall walked over and hugged her. It's fine, I was saved by this man Naruto, Sarah said as Naruto walked inside. Hey, long time no see, Naruto said with a big smile. Ah, Naruto, my boy, it's been ages, he said as he walked over and gave the blonde a big hug. How have you been, Naruto asked. Oh my boy, things have never been as lively. I've traveled some great distance, though I would think when I returned home Team Rocket wouldn't be here causing trouble, he said. Why do they want this, Naruto asked as he pulled out the black orb. Ah my boy, that right there is the key that Team Rocket needs to locating and finding the aura signatures of the most powerful Pokémon in the world, he said. What do you mean, Naruto asked, confusion written on his face. You have traveled far as well, haven't you, Naruto? You have met countless Pokémon, some I believe others barely get to see, says as Naruto gave a small smirk. What can I say, I attract trouble, he laughed with a sweat drop. That you do, my boy. And you must always sense that they are different from regular Pokémon, even mythical ones, he said as they walked into his study. Yeah, even Z's power doesn't compare to some of them, Naruto said as he thought of all the legendary Pokémon he has met throughout his travels. That's because this power is a part of them, and if Team Rocket figure out how to work that machine, they can find all of them and take them by surprise without them putting up much of a fight, said with worry evident in his voice. We can't let them, then we gotta stop them, Naruto said. Unfortunately I can't, as in my age I would only slow you down, he said. Oh come on, if Professor Oak can still go out and about with Pokémon, then you can come with me and stop them from taking all the legendary, Naruto said with determination in his voice. Ah my boy, your young spirit is sometimes too much, but it can't be helped, he said before he got up. Wait, are you actually gonna go? Sarah asked. Yes my dear, so I'm going to need you to stay and take care of the Pokémon with the others, Fuji said. But what if Team Rocket comes back, she asked. Oh, don't worry about that, Naruto said as he let out both Samuel and Leo. The first need you two to watch over this place till I get back, okay? The two Pokémon nodded in agreement as Naruto went out the door and into the playroom where all the Pokémon who were either injured or hurt in the wild were. Though as Naruto was walking through them, he stopped as he felt like he was being watched and turned around as his eyes laid on a single pair of teal color eyes which belonged to a red-furred six-tailed fox-like Pokémon, one he recognized as a Vulpix, but this one was different as he saw the eyes have a glint of red. Hey Sarah, what's up with that Vulpix? He asked as Sarah looked at where he was pointing with a sad look. That Vulpix was just a baby when it was brought here. It looked like it barely hatched from its egg, she said as the Vulpix glared at one of the Pokémon trying to get near her. So it was born in the wild. Then where is its mother? Questioned Naruto as Sarah looked away on the brink of crying. That's my boy is something you do not want to know, said as he walked over and put a hand on Sarah's shoulder. What do you mean? Naruto, still confused, asked. When I was traveling through the Kanto, I came across a pack of Ninetales, each just as beautiful as the next. The scene was soothing, but Team Rocket showed up going after each Ninetales in sight. Some ran while others fought, but it looked hopeless until this one Ninetales different from the rest, with it being so quick it freed all those captured and defeated most of Team Rocket's men, but one man stood in its way, and the two had a battle that allowed for the others to escape. But at the cost of a serve injury that left it weak and with little time. I helped it escape, but it had an egg with it, and by the time we got here it was on its last legs with the egg ready to hatch. In its last moments it watched its baby come into life, and I saw in its final moments true happiness before it passed on. That Vulpix has been with me since, and I promised I would watch after him, making sure not to fail a dying Pokémon's last wish. As finished telling his story, Naruto was looking at the ground as he tightened his fists in anger, with his eyes turning a shade of red just as the light started to flicker. What's going on? Sarah asked. I don't know, but I'm sure it has something to do with Team Rocket. Come on, we gotta go, Naruto said with the anger evident in his eyes as he headed out the door with both Sarah and Fuji looking on with worried eyes as Fuji started to follow him out the door. Be careful, the two of you, Sarah said as Vulpix looked at where the two headed out with a curious gaze before its eyes gained a determined look and it looked up at a partially opened window. Present time. Is it almost ready? Zabuza asked one of the scientists as he was typing on the machine which was beeping with random colors. Almost, I just have to wait for the full power to be restored. Though it would have been a lot faster had we gotten the orb, the man said. Yeah, well, if our help were more useful, then we wouldn't have resorted to taking the town's power, Haku said as she leaned on one of the machines. Suddenly a body was flung from the stairs as it collided with the three grunts, causing them to fall onto the ground before a bolt of thunder came and shocked them, knocking all of them out as Zabuza and Haku turned around to see Naruto and come running up the steps as they looked at the machine that was placed in the center of an altar. What are you doing? This is a place of peace and prayers for the Pokémon who have passed on, Fuji said. And a place for Team Rocket's goals. Now be so clear and just walk away before things get personal, Zabuza said as he moved his cloak over to show one of three Pokeballs. Things have already gotten personal, Z thunderbolt. Suddenly a blur came out of the shadows as Z shot off a bolt of thunder that flew through the air and shocked the machine, causing it to stop and certain parts of it to blow up. No. He fired the circuits, the scientist said. Can you fix them? Zabuza said. Yeah, but the power core is fired. We are gonna need another power source, he said. Well, lucky for us this young man seems to be the one who stopped our men from getting the orb, Haku said as she stood upright ready for a battle. Ah, so this is the best who's been messing with Team Rocket. Alright, then you best give back what doesn't belong to you, Zabuza said. If you're wanting this orb you're gonna have to come get it. Blaze, heat things up. Naruto threw out his trusty fire Pokémon who roared onto the field. Ah, so that's how it's gonna be, then so be it, Zabuza said before throwing out one of his Pokeballs as came a giant of a Pokémon as it roared onto the field with Charmeleon glaring at the huge Pokémon with Naruto raising his Poke Watch. Aggron Steel Rock, the Iron Armor Pokémon. Agron claims an entire mountain as its own territory. It mercilessly beats up anything that violates its environment. This Pokémon vigilantly patrols its territory at all times. Be careful of this one Charmeleon, Naruto said as Z appeared alongside him. I'll handle his little lizard, you take care of his other one, Zabuza said raising an eyebrow at the mysterious Pokémon. Understood, sir, Haku said before throwing out her Pokeball as a floating rock of white with a face on it floated beside Agron. Blaze, go use Dragon Rage. Blaze unleashed a blue stream of fire as Agron didn't move and took it full force, with Naruto having a confused face before it became shocked upon seeing Agron without damage. The Haha gonna have to do better than that kid. Agron used Dark Pulse, his Pokémon then focused in its palms as dark energy gathered in them before he shot it towards Blaze, who couldn't react in time as was blown back into one of the stone tablets. Blaze. Naruto shouted in worry, but he was stopped in his tracks by Z, who held him back as Glalie shot an ice beam in front of him. Nah. Your fight is with me, Haku said. Z, you think you can handle her by yourself, Naruto said mentally. Yes, you deal with a big guy, I can handle her, Z said before her fist lit up with electricity. Glalie used Ice Beam, her Pokémon sent a beam of ice that Z jumped to avoid before hitting the Pokémon with her Thunder Punch, as the ice Pokémon cried out in pain. You still got me to deal with, kid. Now Agrin used Brick Break, Zabuza called out as his Pokémon ran straight at Blaze, who was slowly getting up. Blaze, quickly get up and use Mega Punch, Naruto said with anger as Blaze slowly got feeling dizzy. Thus when he went to charge up his attack and swing it at Agrin attack, it wasn't strong enough and he was blown into the ceiling as it cried out in pain before falling slowly to the ground. How disappointing, Agrin flash cannon and end this, Zabuza said as his Pokémon fired off a silver beam that sent Blaze sailing and landing in front of Naruto, who got down to one knee as he held his near-fainted Pokémon. Blaze, no, are you okay? Naruto said as his red eyes grew brighter. I don't see how my men were defeated by you, you're barely a good trainer if you're not able to see that your Pokémon would not be able to take my attack. Zabuza said as Naruto gritted his teeth and stood up with Blaze in his arms grabbing King's Pokeball, but a hand stopped him as he looked into the eyes of. Don't let your anger take hold of you, my boy. Control it and use it to give you strength, to give your Pokémon strength, Fuji said as Naruto looked at him with his red eyes. Seeing into Fuji's eyes, he saw everything. His past, present and future, and along the way he saw himself in his shoes running away from a past he didn't want to go back to, but knew he had to. His eyes then turned back into their sky blue as he put King's Pokeball away and looked down at Blaze, who was starting to feel better as he looked into his trainer's eyes with the same determination he had seen the first day he found him. I'm sorry Blaze, I let my anger get the better of me, but what do you say we finish this? Naruto said as Blaze smirked and jumped off as he roared at Agrin. This is getting fun. Agrin, go and use Heavy Slam, Zabuza called out as his Pokémon rushed towards Blaze. Quick, Blaze charged in, Naruto said as Blaze had a confused face, but followed its trainer's command as it charged at the oncoming Pokémon. Gone crazy now, haven't you? Zabuza said. No, just using strategy. Blaze used Double Kick to jump over him and cover him with Fire Spin, Naruto said as Blaze slammed his feet into the ground, jumping over the charging Pokémon as he unleashed a burst of fire that circled around the steel Pokémon, who stopped in its advance, becoming caught in the fire. Agrin, blow those flames back with Rock Slide. Don't let him use Double Kick, Naruto said as Blaze charged in, and as the rocks appeared around Agrin taking some of the fire, Blaze slammed each of them into Agrin, hurting it twice as bad. Damn, kid. Agrin hit it away with Brick Break, Zabuza yelled. Blaze, catch him with Fire Fang, Naruto called out quickly as Blaze jumped and bit into Agrin's hand as fire spread until it engulfed him, causing him to be burned. Agrin, yelled Zabuza. Blaze, end this and use Mega Punch, Naruto called out as Blaze closed its fist, which instead of the white light was red as it got slammed into the ground, but held onto Agrin's hand before unleashing its attack right into his gut, causing Agrin to cry out in pain, before it went sailing falling unconscious in front of Zabuza, who had a slight glare before returning his Pokémon. Good job Blaze, and you learned a new move. Naruto hugged his Pokémon as his Pokewatch told him the new move was Focus Punch. Damn kids these days, Zabuza said just as Glalie was thrown in front of him and Haku appeared by his side with Z jumping beside Naruto, looking just slightly winded, while Glalie had swirls in its eyes. Sorry Zabuza sir, but his Pokémon was more than I expected, Haku said, not expecting this mysterious Pokémon to be as tough as it was. Damn, I didn't think I'd have to bring this one out for someone like you, Zabuza raised one of his Pokeballs, but he then heard multiple footsteps before out of the stairwell came a dozen Team Rocket grunts as they surrounded both Naruto and. Damn, they woke up, Naruto said as he stood in front of Fuji, with both of his Pokémon growling at the grunts. Don't think you get out of here without some payback, one of the grunts said as a couple pulled out long sticks and others electric whips. I'll hold them off while you escape, Naruto said as he went to grab another of his Pokeballs. I won't leave you my boy, I knew what I came here for, so this was unavoidable, Fuji said as he prepared for the end. Suddenly a blur jumped up and fired a stream of a fire that hit a couple of the grunts as they dropped their weapons as the rest looked on in shock at seeing Vulpix standing in front of them protectively. The hell, don't let that little shit stop you. Get them, Zabuza said as the others got out of their daze and went in only for Vulpix to roar out and fire a massive blast of fire that took the shape of an X as it slammed into the grunts, knocking them back and out as Zabuza had wide eyes along with Haku. Such power, especially from such a Pokémon of that age, Haku said nothing. How the fur wasn't as firm, telling her that it wasn't even that old. Damn useless grunts, everyone retreat. Zabuza said as he threw down a smoke bomb that blinded everyone as once it subsided Team Rocket was gone. Damn, they got away, Naruto said. Yes, but luckily we made it and it's all thanks to little old Vulpix, Fuji said as he got down and petted the Firefox Pokémon, who purred starts his touch. Yeah, you're right, thanks little guy, Naruto said as he gave the fox Pokémon a smile with the red one looking at him with a curious gaze before walking up to him and nuzzling against his leg. Seems like Vulpix has taken a liking to you, Fuji said. Really now hahaha. Guess we should get everyone and get help with this mess, Naruto said as he pointed at the machines. By the time the police arrived and took away the equipment, the Pokémon Tower was once again free of any Team Rocket mess, with the people of Lavender Town once again being allowed to go and pay their respects for their lost Pokémon. Naruto had of course given his report since he had gone head first into the tower and gotten rid of Team Rocket, though afterwards he was rewarded by some of the town folks with things such as fruit, medicine, and an old rod which he of course had to accept as to not be rude. So I assume you're off now my boy, Fuji asked as he walked up to Naruto who was packing up some of the items he was given. Yeah, and of course I'd like to stay and chat with you some more, but a trainer's journey is never over, Naruto said. Well then my boy, as a token of helping us, take this, then handed him a small box in which Naruto tried to refuse, but Fuji insisted as he took in with grace and looked inside to find two different types of stones, ones in which made Naruto's eyes widen at what they were. One was green while the other a black larger one. I can't take these there too much, Naruto said. No my boy listen this is something I was gonna give to you eventually and you never know when one might need a mega stone, Fuji said. Thank you, Naruto gave the old man a hug before they were interrupted by Vulpix who got into the table and looked at Naruto with the same red eyes as when they first met. You know Naruto Vulpix has been a dear to watch over and I won't always be here to watch over him Naruto would you do this old man one favor and watch over Vulpix for me, Fuji said as he petted the small fox Pokémon with Naruto looking down at him and the fox Pokémon staring into his eyes as the two at each other, seeing into the other's soul, before Naruto smiled and pulled out a blue-colored ball with red streaks, a great ball. What do you say Vulpix wanna join the team? Naruto held the great ball in front of it as Vulpix gave a cheer before tapping the button as the red light covered it and it was sucked into the Pokeball as 3 shakes and the ball clicked, signaling the capture as Naruto smiled before releasing the fire Pokémon who cheered in joy. Are you gonna give him a name? Fuji asked as Naruto looked down at the red-eyed fox Pokémon. How about Kurama? Chapter 7. A fishing adventure. Naruto sighed as he sat down on a cliff looking over at the ocean view and the crashing waves, with all the bird Pokémon flying over him enjoying the sunny day, as Z was leaning on a tree watching in amusement as Naruto who was rubbing his legs, knowing that their journey had taken them quite far, and that Route 12 was the closest thing they had to getting to the next gym he wanted to get to. I still don't understand why you wanted to take this route when Saffron City was a lot closer, plus it gave us more options in terms of gym leaders, with one being accustomed there and 2 others not far from there, Z said as she jumped down next to Naruto. Well I just thought the journey would prove beneficial, I mean Akinda would suck if our journey was quick and we couldn't enjoy the scenery that is the Kanto region, Naruto said as he laid down in the soft grass. So this has nothing to do with avoiding Sabrina after what happened last time you visited her, Z said with amusement as Naruto gave a weary smile. That might also have something to do with it, he said as he got up and looked down and saw a path that led farther down the cliff and gained a small smile before heading down. And where do you think you're going mister? Z said as she looked down from her perch. Well we were given an old rod and I thought I might as well put it to use you never know if later on we are too busy to use it, Naruto said before walking down the small cliffside and stepping down being closer to the water now. What do you plan to get with it? I mean all you will possibly get is a Magikarp and you already have a water type with Leo, Z said as she jumped down to join him as he sat cross-legged on a huge rock before pulling out the old rod. Don't underestimate all Pokémon Z you should know that better than anyone, Naruto smirked as Z huffed and looked away. I told you to never talk about that moment, Z said. Hahaha. Maybe next time you won't go so easy on another Pokémon you deem weak, Naruto said before casting his rod out and setting it in between some rocks as he leaned back and waited for a bite. So when do you plan to call the professor? It has been a while since you two last spoke, Z said. I think I'll call him when we get to Vermilion City and tell him about our little adventure with at Lavender Town, he spoke. So you plan on telling him about the Mega Stone? Z asked. No, at least not yet. I don't even know which Pokémon the stone goes to or if it even goes to any of them, Naruto said as he pulled out the same stone gave him. At least it can help you in your research with Mega Evolution, Z said. Yeah, but I don't know, suddenly he felt a pull on his pole and quickly got up and took hold of it as he pulled back on whatever he had caught. He pulled back with all his strength trying to fight back whatever was at the end as he got pulled before putting his foot on a rock and keeping his hold as he used all of his strength as the two sides fought for dominance with Naruto about to give up and looked over at Z for help who was lazily looking on as he grew a tick mark and with his strength and wits, he let it pull him. before using the moment to pull back as the water broke open and a large shadow covered the sun as both Z and Naruto's eyes widen upon seeing a giant Magikarp come sailing towards him, but he ducked as Magikarp landed behind him in a heap splashing around trying to get back to the water. No wonder that felt like I was pulling on a boulder, because this thing is gigantic, Naruto said as the Magikarp was at least as big if not bigger than himself. That or you're getting lax, Z said as she snickered and Naruto glared at her, but saw the Magikarp jumping around even more. Hey easy there, Naruto said as he went to grab it and took it towards the ocean and put it back as the Magikarp looked up at him and smiled as it splashed in happiness. You're not gonna catch it, Z asked confused. No, I think this one was just confused and it doesn't look like it's really a part of this area, maybe a lost one, Naruto said before packing up his stuff, but a splash of water drew his attention as he looked at the ocean to see the Magikarp looking at him with curious look. It seems this one is different, Z said with a smirk. What's up big guy, Naruto said as Magikarp flipped its flippers and tried to say something. It's asking you for a battle, Z said. What but why? Naruto asked confused. You see it for how young this one is and it wants to prove it's more, Z said as Magikarp splashed around agreeing with what Z was saying. Well if that's the case then how about it Magikarp a battle and if I win I get to catch you and if you win you get this, Naruto then showed a pack of homemade Pokémon food as Magikarp jumped around agreeing with him as Naruto smiled liking its attitude. Seems like he agrees, Z said. Alright then, go Talia, Naruto said as he trusty bird Pokémon came out and flew around before landing in front of him as Magikarp called out ready for battle. Talia peck attack. Magikarp quickly went underneath as Talia tried to hit it but it couldn't underwear and as it sailed around it wasn't prepared for it to come up and tackle it as Talia fell down, but Magikarp came up and started to hit her with his tail as Talia was sent flying onto shore where it got up glared at the fish. Whoa, that Magikarp is trickier than I thought. Talia circled around it and used double team, his Pokémon flew above and multiplied as Magikarp looked at each clone and thought before diving down and for a few minutes nothing happened then it came soaring up and hit one of the clones which happened to be the real one as Naruto grew wide-eyed. Don't underestimate it Naruto, she said also shocked that it was able to tell the difference. Right, Talia go in quick and use wing attack, Naruto called out as Talia shook its head and twisted in the air before flying down and smashing into Magikarp before it could enter the water as it cried out in pain being sent flying into shore. Great job now use peck. Talia flew in close and tried to hit the fish with its beak, but the Magikarp kept jumping out of the way surprising Naruto at how fast it was even when it was this big. Sand attack. Talia quickly stopped and skidded its feet on the ground as sand was thrown at Magikarp blinding it. Now end this with wing attack. Talia then flew straight at the Magikarp wings aglow, but the Magikarp stopped moving as it looked like it was concentrating before snapping its eyes open as it became covered in a bright white light blinding Talia as she stopped moving with Naruto and Z having wide eyes at what was happening. This ain't good. You don't say. Waiter. Now in the Magikarp's place stood a massive blue serpent-like Pokémon with a massive jaw that looked like it could tear him in half as it flared at his Pokémon, who flinched backing up slightly at the massive intimidating Pokémon as Naruto raised his poke watch. Gyarados water flying, the atrocious Pokémon. Rarely seen in the wild. Huge and viscous, it is capable of destroying entire cities in its rage. Don't be afraid Talia we got this. Now go and use double team, his bird Pokémon called out in agreement as it flew up and multiple of her appeared as they circled around Gyarados. The massive Gyarados let out a massive roar before firing a blue flame that took out a majority of the clone birds as it then swung its tail which had water around it before destroying more of the birds until it hit the real one, sending it crashing onto the ground. Talia. Naruto said worried for his Pokémon as he looked up at the serpent that roared into the sky as the clouds suddenly grew dark and more appeared before rain started to pour down. Rain dance? Z questioned. Why use rain dance Talia move? Naruto yelled realizing what was about to happen as Gyarados roared into the sky as thunder appeared and one came quick going right for Talia who quickly moved out of the way almost being hit but feeling the heat from it. Naruto this might be a good time to switch out, she said as she got up prepared to switch in, but a call from Talia stopped them as she looked behind and gave them a determined look, one they have never seen before, as Naruto looked at her with a small smile. Alright Talia if you think you got this, then I won't stop you, Naruto said putting away her Pokeball. Roar. Gyarados then unleashed a torrent of water with Talia flying up avoiding it before flying around the giant serpent as it unleashed even more torrents of water. Alright Talia get in close with quick attack and use wing attack, Naruto watched as his bird Pokémon cawed and glow white before speeding past another torrent of water and hitting Gyarados on its side with one of its wings as it bowled in pain. Naruto look. Yelled Z upon seeing the rage Pokémon roar out before swinging its tail hitting Talia as she crashed into the ground hard. Talia. Suddenly the clouds boomer again as thunder was about to strike, and with Talia barely getting up, Naruto knew she wouldn't be able to dodge, and so he pulled out her Pokeball, but it was knocked out of his hand as Talia looked at him with eyes he hadn't seen since the first day they met, and that was the determination to win. "Talia," Naruto said softly as suddenly the sound of thunder drew his attention up as he saw the attack heading for her, and in that split moment he hesitated, and the next a large explosion occurred with Naruto dropping her Pokeball as he thought of what he had done with Gyarados roaring in victory until a bright light caught everyone's attention as inside the cloud of smoke, a bright light was seen as a shape was forming, and out of the smoke came a new Pokémon, one almost like his Pidgey only bigger as he held up his watch. P-I-D-G-E-O-T-T-O normal flying, the bird Pokémon and the evolved form of Pidgey. Very protective of its sprawling territorial area, this Pokémon will fiercely peck at any intruder. "Talia, you evolved," Naruto said surprised and happy. Talia didn't respond as it sped towards Gyarados who roared at her as it tried to hit her with a torrent of water, but she dodged as her wings took on a sleek grey look and she hit the giant serpent as it roared in pain. "Seems she learned some new moves," Z said proud of her fellow Pokémon as Naruto grew a smirk and checked to see if that was the only moves and smiled upon seeing two other ones. "Talia, now use quick attack and get in close before using steel wing once more," Naruto called out as Talia dived under and sped towards the serpent with the same wings before hitting Gyarados, causing it to become more angry as the clouds boomed once more. "Attack now." The thunder struck, but Talia had a look in her eyes before flying to the side and dodging the thunder attack. "Now time for some payback, use mirror move," Talia smiled as she spread her wings, and the clouds boomed before thunder flew down and struck Gyarados, who roared in pain as she was on the verge of collapse. "Now go Great Ball." Naruto then threw the Pokeball as it hit the big serpent and was sucked in as the ball ended and started to shake as the three looked on in patience till the ball stopped and clicked signaling a capture. "Alright, we caught a Gyarados." Naruto cheered with his newly evolved Pokémon cheering with him. "It would seem that Magikarp was stronger than it looked and was just looking for a worthy trainer," Z said. "Ha, and I was worthy, please. But as for you, Talia, I'm proud of you. Well, get you to a Pokémon Center to heal you up," Naruto said as he returned her to her Pokeball. "It would seem you attract some interesting Pokémon," Z said with amusement. "Yeah, but for now I'll let Gyarados relax before we get reacquainted," Naruto said as he looked at her Pokeball. "What do you plan on naming her?" Z asked knowing the Gyarados was a girl. "You know, back then I would have been afraid of Gyarados, but times change, and the past is just that, the past," Naruto said. "So you're naming her that?" "Yeah, I think Yuza is just right." Chapter 8. The Shocking Battle. Gift from a Stranger. "Your Pokémon are all healed now, Naruto. We hope to see you again and good luck with your gym battle," Nurse Joy said as she handed Naruto his Pokémon. "Thanks, Nurse Joy, and I'll try my best," Naruto said with a big smile as he grabbed his Pokémon before walking out of the Pokémon Center and making his way through the city to the gym for his third battle. As he was making his way through Vermilion City did he notice a huge crowd of people standing around a large mall as he ever so curious made his way past the mall and looked at what they were staring at to find a man with red hair tied in a ponytail as he was wearing a red button-up shirt with brown shorts as his sandals made loud clanking sounds as the man waved people over with his holding a microphone. "Come one, come all and participant in my little game of guess. If you can complete it then you'll win a very special prize," the man said. "What is this little game?" asked one of the onlookers. "Oh, that's easy. You see, inside this city lies a special Pokémon of mine. All you have to do is find it and you win the prize," the man said. "What is this Pokémon of yours? And what is this prize?" "Well, young folk, you'll just have to find out when you see the Pokémon. As for what it is, well, you'll know when you see it." That was the last thing he heard before Naruto decided to walk away with his curiosity full. He decided to get going to his gym, not noticing a pair of eyes watching him. Under gym. "So another challenger arrives to my gym, a tall man with muscles that pulsed with each flex as he wore a military-style uniform with his presence basically showing how strong he was. Naruto had finally arrived at the gym and his first expression of it was that it was a little too much, especially with the lackeys outside as they tried to intimidate him into giving up before he had entered, but he knew better. But the moment he entered and heard Surge's words he could feel the power from him and how big he was as his muscles could even crush him, which excited him to a great challenge as smirked at the gym leader. "Yes, my name is Naruto and I am here to challenge for your badge," Naruto said as he walked to stand on his side of the battlefield. "Is that so, kid, and how many badges do you have?" he asked curious. 3. "Ha. And you think you can challenge me now? Well, I guess they only learn with actions rather than words," Surge said as he pulled out one of his Pokeballs as someone walked into the middle ref's box. "This will be a 3-on-3 battle with only the challenger having the choice to switch. The battle will only end when all of one side's Pokémon is unable to battle. Now that the rules are out of the way, let's get down to business, go Voltorb." Surge then threw his Pokeball as out came a Pokémon that looked just like a Pokeball, only it was bigger and had eyes as it cried out ready for battle. "The Voltorb huh," Naruto said as he raised his Poke Watch. Voltorb Electric, the ball Pokémon. Usually found in power plants. It is easily mistaken for a Pokeball, thus they have zapped many people. Alright then let's get to it. Go King. Naruto then selected his trusty Poison Pin Pokémon as King had been training for his first gym battle for a while now with him making leaps and bounds in order to be prepared for this moment as he roared ready for battle. Alright then if both trainers are ready then let the gym battle commence. Voltorb use Sonic Boom, Surge called out as his Pokémon sent out wide arrowheads that sped towards King. King dodged and used Poison Sting, Naruto called out as King quickly jumped out of the way of each attack till it was at an angle where he fired white needles at Voltorb. Gyro Ball Surge quickly said as Voltorb started to spin deflecting each of the needles. King get in close and use double kick. Stop him with Screech Voltorb, then stopped as it released a violent sound that stopped King in his tracks as he held his ears. King used Dig. Voltorb charge. King quickly dig underneath as Voltorb stopped its screeching and started to gather power as electricity came off him and his eyes showed his concentration. Naruto stop him before he's able to fully charge up, Z said from inside her Pokeball. Yeah I know. King go in now. Naruto yelled as underneath the Voltorb King popped out and hit it with its horn as it cried out in pain. That won't stop us Voltorb Spark, Surge called out as Voltorb shook off his attack and surrounded itself in electricity before charging and slamming into King as he cried in pain. King are you okay? Naruto asked as King quickly got up and nodded before he cried out in pain with electricity flowing around him. It looks like your Pokémon is paralyzed. Sucks for you now Voltorb Sonic Boom, this time when Voltorb shot off its attack King couldn't dodge as it cried out in pain being sent back towards Naruto. King no. Are you okay? Naruto asked as King shakily stood up and nodded its head. Your Pokémon should just give up while it's still able to stand. Voltorb now Sonic Boom. Dodge it with Dig, King quickly dug below dodging the beams as Voltorb looked around searching for King. You can't hide forever, Surge said waiting for his opponent's Pokémon to surface. Damn his Voltorb is stronger than I thought, Naruto thought. Remember Naruto you can't always go straight ahead. You have to be tricky, Z said as Naruto got an idea and smiled. Tricky huh, King now go in and use horn attack, Naruto called out as from behind King popped out and hit Voltorb sending him flying. You think that'll stop us Voltorb use Sonic Boom. King stopped them with Poison Sting and then use Focus Energy, Naruto called out as King unleashed his needles countering the Sonic Boom as King cried out with blue energy surrounding him. You think that will stop us? Voltorb used the fall's momentum and hit him with Spark, Surge said as Voltorb started to fall towards King, sparking with electricity. Now King meet him head on with horn attack, Naruto said as King cried out with its horn glowing before it grew bigger and it turned silver confusing Naruto before his Poke Watch dinged. New move learned. Smart Strike. This shocked Naruto before the two collided as an explosion occurred with smoke covering the field as the two looked onto the field with the smoke subsiding and revealed King still standing, though barely as Voltorb was turned over with swirls in its eyes. Voltorb is unable to battle. King wins this round. Good job King, Naruto cheered as King smirked back as he breathed heavily. Well it's hard to take out one of my Pokémon, so you have my attention, Surge said with a smirk as he sensed something different with this kid. Why thank you and I hope you'll stop taking it easy on me, Naruto said. Oh trust me I think me taking it easy on you if over. Because now you'll feel my full force, Magnemite let's go, Surge then sent out his next Pokémon, which was a floating magnet as it floated around the field. The Magnemite huh, Naruto raises his Poke Watch. Magnemite Electric Steel, the magnet Pokémon. It is born with the ability to defy gravity. It floats in the air on powerful electric magnetic waves. King thanks for your hard-fought battle, but right now get some rest, Naruto said as he returned King to his Pokeball, knowing that a poison type wouldn't do much against a steel type. Kurama heat things up, Naruto then sent out his next and newest Pokémon. So you've decided to go at me with type. Well then let's see how that fares, Surge says excitement in his voice. Alright Kurama this is your first gym battle, so don't be too nervous, Naruto said, but Vulpix just cried out in excitement with Naruto smiling, knowing he had to beg Blaze to let Kurama have this battle, though he had to let Blaze train him to be prepared. Magnemite go use Thunder Shock, Surge called out as his Pokémon sparked up before firing a burst of thunder. Kurama dodged it with quick attack and use Flamethrower, his Pokémon quickly jumped away as he glowed white as he jumped around dodging each Thunder Shock before getting in close and unleashing a burst of fire from his mouth. Lock it with Gyro Ball, Surge quickly said as his Pokémon spun around deflecting the torrent of fire. Alright if that's not gonna work then use Dark Pulse Kurama stopped shooting flames before gathering dark energy and unleashing it. Double team Magnemite. Suddenly multiple Magnemite appeared as the dark pulse went through one of them. "Oh, this ain't good," Naruto said. "Now dodge this thunder shock." All the Magnemite then unleashed a wave of thunder that Vulpix could not dodge as it cried out in pain from being electrocuted. "Kurama." Naruto quickly tried to think of a strategy before seeing a shadow on the ground and realized where Magnemite was and smirked. "You should give up while you can, kid." "Not likely Kurama use flamethrower on that Magnemite," Naruto said as he pointed at the one with the only shadow with Kurama, quickly unleashing a torrent of fire with the Magnemite having wide eyes before being engulfed in the fire. "Magnemite." Surge watched as his steel type landed in the ground with swirl in its eyes. "Magnemite is unable to battle. Vulpix wins this round." "Ah, kid, you're full of surprises," Surge said. "What can I say, I'm the unpredictable knucklehead," Naruto said with a smirk. "Well, let's see if you're unpredictably can handle my ace Pokémon." Surge then threw out his last Pokémon as a loud spark, and Chu was heard with a big brown mouse standing proudly with its arms crossed. "The Raichu." Naruto held up his poke watch. "Raichu Electric, the mouse Pokémon. Its long tail serves as a ground to protect itself from its own high voltage power." "Well then, this might be difficult, but what do you say, Kurama? Think you can handle him?" Naruto asked his fox Pokémon, who nodded his head as he smirked. "Well then, let's get this started. Raichu quick attack." "Kurama, meet him head on with your own quick attack." The two Pokémon heard their trainer's call and each took off with Kurama having the faster speed, but once the two collided, Raichu's size gave it an edge as Vulpix was thrown back. "Now Raichu Thunderbolt." Kurama counter with flamethrower. The two attacks collided as smoke rose up blocking each other's view of each other, but once it cleared, Raichu was nowhere to be found. "What the hell?" Naruto said as he searched around for the electric mouse. Now Raichu surfaced and hit him with a dynamic punch. Suddenly the ground behind Kurama broke apart as Raichu came up with a glowing red fist, and before Kurama could react it was hit in the face, sending it flying and colliding with a wall as Kurama gave a small whine before falling to the ground with swirls in its eyes. Vulpix is unable to battle. Raichu is the winner. "Ha! Told you this wouldn't be an easy battle for you," Surge said as Naruto returned Kurama to his Pokeball. "Good job, buddy, you did amazing. Don't think this is over yet, Surge, I still got 2 more Pokémon to go," Naruto said as he pulled out another of his Pokeballs. "I hope so, because I'm getting amped up," Surge said as he tightened his fists. "Samuel, let's go." Naruto then sent out his trusty grass Pokémon, who cried out onto the field as he and Raichu glared at each other. "Let's get this second match underway, shall we?" Raichu Thunderbolt. His Pokémon then shot off a bolt of electricity. Samuel quick dodge it and use Razor Leaf. Samuel quickly jumped to the side before unleashing waves of sharp leaves. "Deflect them all with Iron Tail and get in close with quick attack," Surge called out as his Raichu's tail took a silver hue becoming sharp before using it to smack away the oncoming leaves before rushing towards the seed Pokémon, who continued to shoot the leaves but jumped back when Raichu jumped in front of him. "Now Thunderbolt." Samuel quick bide. Raichu unleashed a massive bolt of thunder as Samuel took on an aura of red and taking on the full force of the Thunderbolt as Samuel was still standing even though it was damaged. "Ah, nice thinking, but your Pokémon still took quite some damage," Surge said with a smirk. "Yeah, but worth it for this, go Samuel, unleash it." Naruto then watched as his Pokémon screamed out before firing the stored energy. Raichu double team. Suddenly multiple Raichu appeared as the attack went right through one. "What?" Naruto yelled shocked. "Don't think I didn't prepare for all these types of situations. Now go Raichu and use Iron Tail." All the Raichu rushed in on a very tired Samuel. "Quick Samuel, use poison powder," Naruto called out as Samuel with its last strength unleashed from its seed of purple gas as the Raichu flew in and one of them hit him sending him tumbling as he tried to get up only to fall down with swirls in his eyes. Samuel is unable to battle. Raichu wins. "Ah, maybe next time you should come with a bit more power," Surge said as he and Raichu laughed, but then Raichu got down on one knee as purple sparks appeared around it with Surge becoming shocked. "Samuel may not have been able to beat your Raichu, but he was able to hurt your Raichu another way," Naruto said with a smirk. "Ah, so now both of our last Pokémon are on their last legs," he said. "Yeah, but the difference between our Pokémon is mine will never give in. King, let's end this." Naruto sent out his last Pokémon as it roared onto the field with him still damaged, but better than before as both him and Raichu looked at each other with determined faces. "Then let us see if that will hold." Raichu go quick attack, Surge called out as Raichu quickly rushed towards King. "Meet him head on with Horn attack." The two Pokémon charged at each other as the two attacks collided as they fought for dominance with each growling at the other. Raichu smack him away with Iron Tail. "Don't let him use double kick." Raichu's tail turned silver as he jumped up and went for a strike, but King quickly turned around and used his back feet to fend off the sharp tail as the two were having a small fight as the poison coursed through Raichu, making him flinch as Naruto gave a small smile. Now King Smart Strike, suddenly King ducked under a swing as his horn grew and turned silver, before thrusting it at Raichu, who could do nothing as he was sent flying back landing on his legs shakily. Raichu, don't give up yet, go in and use Thunderbolt. King quick dig underground, Naruto responded as King dug underground dodging the bolt of thunder that hit the spot he was in before. You think you'll use the same tactics, then you're wrong. Raichu used thunder, Surge yelled as he and his Pokémon both screamed as Raichu unleashed a powerful burst of thunder that tore the field up as King was taken out of his hiding spot as he landed in front of Naruto beaten and on the verge of collapse. King, are you okay? Naruto asked as he knew King had pushed past his limits and was on the verge of collapsing. Haha, it seems the end of the match is right around the corner. This will be the final attack, Surge said as he was shocked that King was still up even after that full-powered thunder, though it did take a lot out of Raichu, who was still feeling the effects of the poison. That is why he was hoping to finish it off with that last move. Yeah, you're right, it is the end for you, Naruto said as he looked at his Pokémon who was at his limits. Really, your Pokémon is barely able to stand up, why don't you give up and save it some humiliating defeat? Besides, it never stood a chance against Raichu, Surge laughed along with his Raichu with King growing angry at the insult. Surge, they're just something you'll never understand, and that's the determination of not only my Pokémon, but myself. Our bonds are stronger because of it, and through each other we strive to achieve a strength far beyond what we are capable of, and King has my full heart, so King, let's do this, Naruto said as King smiled at his trainer's compliments as the memories of its previous trainer and his harsh treatment forced a block on his mind. But now throughout this journey with Naruto he has grown not only physically, but mentally, and not by himself, but with the one standing behind him cheering him on and trusting in his power. Suddenly, with a loud cry, King was enveloped in a bright light as both everyone had wide eyes upon what they were seeing with Raichu himself as he took a step back as the size of King grew and his horn grew more with a glow dying down, revealing the next stage of Nidoran. An Idorino Poison, the Poison Pin Pokémon. An aggressive Pokémon that is quick to attack. The horn in its head secretes a powerful venom. King, why you evolved, Naruto said with shock before giving a huge smile as his new Pokémon turned towards him with a smile, before his Pokewatch dinged and he looked down to see some new info as he smirked. This is far from over, Surge, and now you'll feel our full might, Naruto said as he and King shouted in ready. Then come and feel our full might. Raichu, give them everything you have, Volt Tackle. Surge yelled as his Raichu gave a war cry before running full sprint towards King as it was covered in yellow electricity. King, show him what our bonds are like and go in with Drill Run. Naruto yelled as King roared while its horn grew and he charged at Raichu before jumping and spinning, looking like a massive spinning top. The two Pokémon rushed towards each other as their trainers gave a loud cry before colliding in the middle as a massive explosion occurred, blowing away the windows and shaking the entire gym as a huge dust cloud blinded Evam, with Naruto getting blown off his feet as Surge was blown back a few feet. The two quickly looked into the cloud of smoke as it started to settle, and the two were able to view what had happened as both King and Raichu were still standing as the two looked at each other in the eyes for a few seconds before Raichu gave a small smirk and collapsed to the ground with swirls in his eyes as King held on with a small flinch. Raichu is unable to battle and the winner is King. Which means the winner of this gym battle goes to Naruto, the ref said as Naruto stood still for a few seconds before gaining a huge smile and running over to King as he gave him a big hug with a purple Pokémon, whining about his trainer's affection. We won, King. We did it, I can't believe we did it, Naruto was so happy as Surge really pushed him past to his limits, but his bonds remained strong as King looked into his eyes and smiled before licking his face as he laughed at his Pokémon's antics. Well, kid, you sure surprised me, and your Pokémon are really strong, I'll give you that, Surge said as someone came up to him with a small box before he pulled something out of it. As the gym leader here and as proof that you have defeated me, I now present you with the Thunder Badge, congrats kid, Surge then handed him a Sun-style badge. Wow, yeah, I got the Thunder Badge. Naruto cheered as his Pokémon cheered with him. May we battle again, kid, because that was a lot of fun, Surge then shook his hand. Yeah, I'd be down for that, Naruto said as he shook his hand. Pokémon Center. Naruto was now at the Pokémon Center where all three of his Pokémon who had participated in today's gym battle were getting some nice rest and relaxation. Though Blaze was a little mad Kurama had lost, he forgives him on account that it was his first time battling, but was congratulated on winning one match. As he was waiting for his Pokémon, he felt as though he was being watched by someone and looked around the place, seeing that everyone, trainer and resident of the town, were minding their own business or talking with others. But he couldn't find any pair of eyes on him. He was about to just get up and walk it off, but then he heard some rustling and turned towards a pottery plant as he stared at it for a few seconds till the leaves moved and he smiled before reaching his hand out and feeling something that defiantly wasn't a plant as all of a sudden a slight shimmer and a green lizard type Pokémon was what he was petting. Well, a Kecleon, what are you doing here? Is your trainer anywhere?" Naruto asked the green Pokémon. Suddenly the Kecleon walked towards him and grabbed something from behind it, as it was a letter, confusing him a little until his mind thought back to an earlier stop he made before going to the gym. "So you're the Pokémon that man wanted others to find, huh?" Naruto asked as Kecleon nodded its head and handed him the letter as he took it. "So what's this supposed to be?" Naruto opened the letter and found two things. One was a ticket to board the SS Anne, and the other was a letter with a very important notice, as he noticed the symbol immediately and glared a little before opening it up slowly and reading what it had to say. "To the one who found my Kecleon and received this letter, I congratulate you. Now, as you may have noticed, you have received a ticket to go aboard the S. But that's not all, as this letter invites you to participate in the Uzumaki tourney, where random participants chosen by my family are invited to come and battle not only other chosen, but those of the Uzumaki who will be in the tournament as well. Of course you are given the option to deny it, but just know you will be missing out on the grand prize, which will be of course money, free boat riding on any Uzumaki cruise ride, and a Pokémon egg. If you choose to deny this invite, please hand this letter and ticket back to Kecleon so that another participant will have a choice. Though if you accept, just let the Pokémon know and he will inform his Uzumaki trainer so that a barrack can be made. Rules will also be spoken of on the boat and info you have will be answered when in the boat. Sincerely, Shin Uzumaki." Naruto kept on staring at the letter for the longest time as his thoughts were all jumbled with what he learned and if he should answer the challenge. With memories of his past coming back to him, some good, but most of them bad. "You know you can't run from your past forever," Z said from inside his Pokeball, feeling his trainer's thought. "But what if the past is too much for me to handle?" Naruto responded. "Naruto, I have seen you do some crazy things and all through it you have come out stronger. So Naruto, it is your choice if you plan on living in fear of the past or taking it head on," Z said. Naruto just looked at the letter once more, thinking on his past life and his travels as what had led him through to this point right here. It was at that moment his eyes widened as he realized she was right and he would never become the best if the past would always hold him back. So with a heavy heart and a big sigh, he turned towards the Kecleon with a big smile. "Go and tell your trainer that, so accept, and we'll see him on the cruise in a few days," Naruto said as Kecleon nodded before heading out with Naruto, wondering if he was going to regret this. What if Naruto x Pokémon Sun and Moon end here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.